Chapter 1309, Power Awakening, Xiao Luo Divine Body. Chapter 1309, Power Awakening, Xiao Luo Divine Body. Ha ha! Long Fei grinned and said, "Preparations complete." The sky-swallowing rat also laughed. The smell of God. It's so nostalgic. Immediately, the blood essence in Long Fei's body surged and was crazily being devoured by this power. In that instant, the sky-swallowing rat's eyes suddenly opened. At this moment, the resurrection ring's attribute was activated. Ding! Congratulations to the player, Long Fei, for reviving. Currently, the resurrection ring has been revived 3 times. The sky-swallowing rat's eyes opened, and Long Fei's eyes opened as well. It was just that his face was incomparably pale, as if all the blood in his body had been sucked dry. Ha ha! Long Fei laughed sinisterly. God Scorpio's eyes darkened. You should be dead, turned into ashes. You. How strong was the power of judgment? God Scorpio was more clear than anyone else that no human could survive under such power, even if they had a strong blood vein. No one can escape the judgment of destiny. However, Long Fei revived, his whole body covered in blood, but he didn't seem to be hurt at all. Even though God Scorpio was an oracle, he was still stunned by the scene before him. Long Fei laughed sinisterly. I said it before, your father's life cannot be controlled by the heavens but by me. You want to control your father's fate. Judging your father, even if the god of fate comes, it will be useless. While they were talking, Long Fei turned his right hand over and roared deeply, "Blood essence, bring out the sky-swallowing rat." His blood essence was emptied. In an instant, the blood vein's energy was absorbed by the sky-swallowing rat. Long Fei let out a loud roar. "Come, eat him!" Squeak, squeak. Roar. Long Fei's body erupted with strange cries. God Scorpio's eyes turned cold, and he shouted, "It doesn't matter what power you have, human beings cannot fight against gods. It is so in Chaos Realm, even in divinity, it is the same. Do you want to go against gods? No one can do it. The same goes for you. Die. Fate judgment." The poisonous thorn in God Scorpio's hand pierced out once again, piercing through Xiang Long Fei, causing another wave of judgment power to surge out. The sky darkened, and the earth trembled. At this moment, in the sky above Chaos Realm, the ground was completely stomped by God's Scorpio. The divine armor, God's Scorpio, continued to absorb the energy. The power of judgment came crashing down. Roar. Suddenly, the sky-swallowing rat image enveloped Long Fei. It was incomparably huge, and at this moment, the heavens were trembling as if they were afraid of something. Without waiting for the power of judgment to fall, God Scorpio was immediately swallowed by the sky-swallowing rat. Gudong! A dull sound of strength echoed in the room. The sky-swallowing rat chewed on it, absorbing the strong devouring energy at a crazy rate. Heavenly Oracle, you have this power. Not bad. It's nourishing. Delicious, delicious, truly delicious. Ha ha ha. The sky-swallowing rat chewed crazily, and God Scorpio completely had no power to resist it. They could only defend. At the same time, above the 9th heaven, the great master of the void, Destiny God, was infuriated. Streams of godly powers poured down from the sky. A mere little hairy mouse dares to challenge me? Streams of power flowed into God's Scorpio's body. As long as he could resist the sky-swallowing rat's devouring, he could survive and kill Long Fei. The Destiny God was very clear as well. Long Fei simply could not sustain his strength for long, because the reason the sky-swallowing rat were this strong was because he was constantly absorbing the energy of Long Fei's blood vein. Profound Qi meant longevity. Once his lifespan was exhausted, Long Fei would not be able to hold on, and the sky-swallowing rat would naturally disappear. Long Fei was definitely going to die. Just as Destiny God had predicted, Long Fei was indeed consuming his own life force. He just didn't like it. So what if you are a god? So what if he was a sovereign? If you don't let me enjoy it, then Lousy will definitely not let you have a good time. In this world, if you don't agree, then do it. Is God great? If you make me unhappy, the god will kill you too. Boom, boom. As Long Fei's profound chi weakened crazily, Long Fei did not hesitate at all. Even if he were to die, he had to win this battle. He hadn't even been in the Chaos Realm for half a year, and the Destiny God had already sent out assassins, not giving him a chance to live. Then we will fight to the death. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. The sky-swallowing rat moved and said, "Brat, are you able to hold on? You've already used up 200 years of your lifespan, so you don't have much left. If I don't kill him, I won't die. Bring out your strongest power." Long Fei would not rest until he was dead. What did 200 years of lifespan count for? 2,000 years to kill him. All right. The sky-swallowing rat increased its absorption of Long Fei's profound spirit chi, and at the same time crazily devoured the god power from God's, Scorpio's body. Destiny God crazily channeled his power into God's, Scorpio's body. At this moment, it was a battle between Long Fei and Destiny God. No one could participate in this battle. No one could stop it. Boom. In just a few seconds, Long Fei's lifespan of 100 years was exhausted once again. God Scorpio also came back to life with incomparable pain. Inside the main temple, Destiny God was furious. Thunder roared above the ninth heaven. "A mere ant dares to contend against me." Spear of Destiny. He wanted Long Fei to die. He wanted sky-swallowing rat to die. A surge of power surged, piercing through the 9 heavens. Rumbling into the chaos realm, a divine spear descended. The sky-swallowing rat's eyes were startled as she said in a heavy tone, "Brat, this is the spear of destiny. Your current strength is unable to resist this divine spear at all. We can't kill him. We can't kill him." If a perfect stage sky-swallowing rat could swallow the heavens and swallow the earth, but he was only a level 1 sky-swallowing rat, the reason why he could unleash such a strong power was entirely because of Long Fei's blood vein and profound chi. Facing the fall of the Destiny God Spear, it was simply unable to resist. At this moment, Chaos Realm was shocked. The Destiny God Spear technique caused everyone inside the Chaos Realm to tremble. It was as if the power of destiny was tightly holding their throats, making them feel incomparable discomfort. "Kid, I can't hold on any longer. I can't hold on any longer." Since the sky-swallowing rat said that, then it meant that Long Fei really couldn't hold on anymore. However, the anger in Long Fei's heart rose to a height of 10,000 meters, and he roared loudly, "You must kill him! Destiny God, your father will fuck your ancestors." Ah. His rage was ignited. In that instant, a bizarre power from within Long Fei's body awakened. Buzz. His entire body was dyed crimson red as a blood-red godly armor covered his body. Both of his eyes became bloodshot, and he looked as if he had crawled out of a blood pool from hell. The system also suddenly sounded out a prompt. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for activating the Xiao Luo Divine Body's power. Ding. Do you want to activate the Xiao Luo Divine Body? The sky-swallowing rat said slightly, "Brat, with your current strength, you simply cannot endure the judgment of destiny. Even if you can endure this move, the destiny god will definitely make a second one. She will definitely not let any humans escape his control. That would be a great insult to her, the destiny god." So, at this moment, God's Scorpio laughed wildly in complacency. "You want to oppose the gods, oppose the heavens, and want to kill me? Come and kill me. Ha ha ha. Do you think you are qualified? Kid, just accept your fate. No one can escape the control of fate. Neither can you. Ha ha ha." God's Scorpio was extremely proud. His identity represented that of a destiny god envoy. And at a time like this, the destiny god would definitely not let him die. Otherwise, how shameful would that be? And then God Scorpio then said, "The god is not reversible. Do you understand?" Ha ha ha. Insolent laughter. This made Long Fei very unhappy, very unhappy. The sky-swallowing rat said, "Brat, do you understand the meaning behind what I just said?" Long Fei's gaze darkened, and he said, "Understood." How could he not understand? Even if Long Fei managed to awaken the power of the Azura body, he could at most block the attack of the destiny god's spear this time. If he wanted to take revenge and overturn the destiny god, there was only one way out, and that was to survive. Long Fei was very clear on the meaning behind sky-swallowing rat's words, but some people must die. While he was speaking, the Xiao Luo divine body power in Long Fei's body burst forth once again. He roared, "Ah!" His body jerked. He directly sent the destiny god's spear on his shoulder flying out. The idea moved and roared, "Sky-swallowing rat, spray him out for me." The sky-swallowing rat did as he was told. Bang! God Scorpio was sprayed out by the sky-swallowing rat. Is he cocky? Arrogant, right? God is irreversible, right? I'll just wait and see how long you can continue being cocky. And, God, I will go against my will. Long Fei roared out and then cupped his fists. Boom. The void was crushed by the Xiao Luo divine body's power within Long Fei's body. Without waiting for God Scorpio to react, Long Fei's fists smashed down heavily. Crack! Fell from the sky, and at the moment when he was about to fall, Long Fei's fists shot out like lightning, striking wildly at God's Scorpio's chest. Stop it! Stop being cocky for lousy. Boom, boom, boom. His strength was like a thunderbolt that struck God's Scorpio's chest with full force time and time again. The divine armor shattered. The divine power in his body was dispersed, unable to condense. God's Scorpio's face paled, his expression became dumbstruck, and his body was firmly pressed down by Long Fei, unable to move an inch. Save me! Master, save me! God of destiny, save me! God Scorpio shouted for help. He's calling for help. Chapter 13:11. Berserk, Berserk leveling up. Chapter 13:11. Berserk, Berserk leveling up at the same time Long Fei's attack landed. His fate was crushed by the destiny god, and his life force was severed. But even so, Long Fei continued to throw out his last bit of power. At this moment, the destiny god, Lance, above his head, also lashed out. Death danced. The sky-swallowing rat was taken by Long Fei into the war pet space. Everyone held their breath, as if they were waiting. It was as if time had stopped. Die! A furious roar from the ninth heaven, the wrath of the destiny god. On the ground, Long Fei roared. Die! Long Fei's fury was overbearing. Boom, boom. The entire Kunlun sect fell, and in that instant, Long Fei and the idea entered the midst of the mechanical heart. Destroy! The forbidden valley suddenly sank. Everyone was swallowed up by the black hole and disappeared. Kunlun sect also exploded crazily. When the destiny god's spear descended, It pierced deep into the ground, and the power of Destiny God's fury energy burst out completely. This power shocked the entire Chaos realm. He couldn't stop trembling. The entire plane seemed as though it was about to be penetrated and destroyed. This power, too terrifying. Many people directly kneeled on the ground, bowing to the heavens. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Huge explosions rang in the sky one after another, shaking the heavens. The entire Kunlun sect was turned into fine powder, and all life disappeared from within it. After a long time, the idea of the Destiny God slightly moved, and then a cold smile surfaced on the corner of its mouth as it said, "Opposing fate, no one can escape the control of fate. No one." At this moment, on the main temple's throne, the other giant god said lightly, "Your god Scorpio seems to also be dead." Destiny God said slightly, "It doesn't matter if he dies. Besides, no one knows whether he dies or not." Indeed, under those circumstances, who would dare to pry into what was happening in the Kunlun sect? The people of the Chaos realm only knew that the gods were attacking them, who would know that the Destiny gods had also died inside. Another Titan said, "Shio Luo Divine Body, Azura King." It looks like the Azura King didn't give up after betraying the main temple. Humph. So what? The Azura King will forever hide in a dark black hole and live on in vain. There is nothing he can do, a giant god said in disdain. Sigh. The Azura King was once the sovereign of our main temple, but now it has fallen into the possession of humans. How pathetic is that? I'm getting worse and worse. You are still trying to win against us in the ancient holy battlefield. He's simply overestimating himself. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. The many titans of the main temple all began to laugh. At this moment, they did not have the slightest bit of mercy towards the deaths of millions of lives to them who were high up in the sky, let alone millions of lives in the Chaos realm. Even if all the humans in the Chaos realm died, they wouldn't even bat an eyelid. Humans were nothing more than ants to them. It's just a toy. Who would pity ants and toys? On Chaos realm, many people were setting off firecrackers to celebrate that they were still alive and that Long Fei had failed to defy the gods. Otherwise, the Chaos realm would have brought about a huge catastrophe. No one could resist this tribulation. No one wanted to die. Being in front of a toy, even being an ant didn't matter as long as one could survive. Within Xianyuan Canyon, Xianyuan Li'er looked at the burst of light in the sky and slowly retreated. His heart tightened as he muttered, "Big brother Long Fei." In that situation, Long Fei was dead for sure. Xianyuan Li'er's eyes became blurry, and his tears started streaming down uncontrollably. Xianyuan Xiong gently sighed. "Hey, fighting against a god. You can't even win against people. How can you be qualified to fight against a god?" Zhan Wushuang laughed coldly and said, "You overestimate yourself." Xianyuan Li'er looked coldly at Zhan Wushuang, his fists clenched tightly, his nails digging into his flesh, blood dripping down. He swore in his heart, "Big brother Long Fei, Li'er swear on her blood that I will avenge you. I will kill whoever kills you, and I will kill you the way God kills you." Then, Xianyuan Li'er stepped in and entered the examination grounds for the Tower Question of God. Following that, Zhan Wushuang followed him. Huff, 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 breathing. Long Fei could clearly hear his own breathing. "Am I dead? Where am I?" He clashed head-on with God's Scorpio. "Even if I die, I have to drag him down with me." So what if he was a god? Long Fei was unhappy, but still killed. But he didn't know whether he was dead or alive, and at that time, the instant Long Fei's memories returned to them, his life force was crushed at that moment. In other words, His lifespan was running out, and his fate was coming to an end. However, he clearly remembered when he killed God Scorpio. Time returned to that moment. Rumble. Ding. System notification. Player Long Fei has expended his lifespan. Fate has been crushed. Almost at the same time, another system beep sounded. Long Fei also did not have any hesitation. The idea moved and shouted in a deep voice, "Release your striking attribute." Level 6 Berserk. Explode. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing God's Scorpio's Oracle for obtaining 100 million experience points, 100 million holy source, and 10 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining God's Scorpio's divine armor. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining God's Scorpio sword. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining God's Scorpio's divine blood vein. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for releasing Level 6 Berserk. Please select the domain Treasure Series, Water God Treasure Series, Animation Series, Game Series, Wyman Series, Heavenly Court Series, Mecha Series, Universal Unknown Series. The system pops out the selection box. At this time, Long Fei's idea had already started to dissipate, and then the system was silent for half a second before it sounded out again. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Human Emperor Fushi, a level 900 warlord, after which 1 billion experience exploded forth. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Sun rank 5. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Sun rank 6. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the Moon stage, level 6. 10 levels consecutively. Also at this moment, the leveling ability resurrected, and the Destiny God crushed Long Fei's life force. The two kinds of power clashed, intertwined, and exploded crazily. The difference in power between the two was tremendous. All of a sudden, Long Fei's body entered a strange state. Birth, death. Even Long Fei himself did not know, but he could only feel that he was in a bizarre space, a world that he had never felt before. Where is this? Long Fei didn't want to waste time with him, so she said, "Azura King, If you have anything to say, just say it. There's no meaning in beating around the bush. Ha ha. All right. That's straightforward enough. I'll be frank with you then. I want you to become the messenger of my Azura King. I want you to help me gather a heaven-defying army and enter the ancient gods' ruins. You have to change the laws of this world and cause the main temple's bones to burn as they fly. The old man said, excitedly. The pain from the past had never dissipated in his heart. He would never forget the cold faces of the main temple. For countless years, he had hidden in this abyss with the darkness as his companion. Azura King Envoy, Long Fei asked, what about the benefits? This sort of thing naturally had to be taken advantage of. It's not good. I'm not interested, Long Fei said. Benefits? The Azura King's voice sank. The advantage is that I can let you regain your life force and control the fate that cannot be controlled by the destiny god. This is the advantage. Not interested. Let's do something practical. Long Fei said, Azura King, you just said the basic conditions. You wanted me to do something for you, wanted me to help you fight the main temple, which is the main temple. You think that just because I said I'm your oracle, they wouldn't kill me? As long as I say that it's your oracle, they would probably want to kill me 18,000 times more, right? So, don't be stingy. Give me all the holy artifact, treasures, and main artifact you have. With these trump cards, I can challenge the main temple. Long Fei said very straightforwardly. To challenge the main temple, this was enough to show that the Azura King's identity was not simple. It would be too much of a waste if such an extraordinary person was not properly squeezed. The Azura King slightly said, You're really rude, actually wanting main artifact. Do you know how few main artifact there are even in the main temple? Also, Destiny God is just a god, not a sovereign. Main artifact are amazing things. How can they be found all over the streets like radish and cabbage? TCH, are you being too stingy or too poor? Long Fei really wanted to take out the golden cudgel-less, and disdainfully said in his heart, I already have a main artifact in the gods' martial continent. Our main artifact as strong as you say? Not even a god in the main temple? Then why did John Wushuang have God's shield-s? Could it be that the people of main temple are all poor people? Cough, cough, cough. The Azura King started coughing continuously from Long Fei's words, received a small blow, and said faintly, I can let you regain control of your own fate, and since Destiny God can't sense it, he won't send Oracle to deal with you, so there's no need for you to fight against main temple. At least for now, so... Brother, can you stop talking nonsense? Get to the point. Give or not give. Long Fei really did not want to hear what Luo Li had to say. Speak your mind, and if you do, I will help you find the army that defied the heavens. If you don't give it to me, then pretend I didn't say anything. The Azura King finally relaxed a bit and said, Here. Long Fei was also secretly excited in his heart and said, What are you giving me? The Azura King said, All of my strength. Huh. Rub. You want to go that far? Long Fei was slightly taken aback, then said, It's fine if you don't have any main artifact, but you don't have to go through all of them. If you give me all of your power, what will you do then? The Azura King faintly said, I bet everything on you. Kid, remember, your goal is the ancient holy battlefield, the main temple. Just based on your own strength alone, you cannot contend against the main temple. You need a strong power to support you, a power that truly belongs to you. If you want to find an army that defies the will of the heavens, you have to create your own power. Only by doing this will you have the qualifications to enter the ancient holy battlefield. In addition, there's something you need in the Tower Question of God. If there's a chance, you can go in there and look for it. The Azura king slowly said. Following that, as the Azura king spoke, it said with a heavy tone, "Boy, you are ready? Accept my Azura king's complete inheritance." Chapter 13:13, Great Wilderness Land. Chapter 13:13, Great Wilderness Land Chaos Realm. Great Wilderness Land. This was the border region of the Chaos Realm. It was a place rarely populated, where resources were scarce and desolate. Kunlun's sect shook violently. The Forbidden Valley was swallowed up by a powerful force, and everyone was sucked into it. After an unknown period of time, when they wake up, they will be at Great Wilderness Land. Where is this place? What is this place? Boss, boss, master. He could not see the end of the wasteland and could not tell the direction. Even Kunlun-Zi had never stepped into this place, and there was a huge mechanical beast not far away from them. However, it had already turned into a pile of scrap iron. It was it that had sent these people here. At this moment, the Chaos Realm was already famous. Everything about the Kunlun sect was burned to ashes. Kunlun-Zi shook his head and said, "I didn't sense anything. I couldn't even sense a shadow." "Grand Master, do you not know where we are?" Hualin's face was pale, and his body was in extreme pain. Kunlun-Zi shook his head. "I don't know." Fat Menchen searched everywhere. "Where's boss? Where's the boss? Boss, where are you?" At this moment, the Black Knife woke up, and Descending Dragon woke up. The other King Kong people slowly woke up, and saw that they were in the same place as Yuyang. They were all stunned. "Where is this place? What happened?" Sky Spirit sat on the ground with a deathly pale face and muttered, "The boss is gone. The boss is gone. I am truly useless. I am truly useless. Why is my strength sealed by the poison?" The Sky Spirit roared in madness. The other King Kong members were the same, feeling extremely remorseful. When they woke up from hell, they had always thought that they were strong, very strong. At least they hadn't met any real enemies in Chaos Realm. However, this time they were unable to turn the tides, and their powers were sealed by the soul losting powder. They could only watch as Long Fei endured it all by himself, but there was nothing they could do. This feeling was too unbearable. Aoya looked at the teary face of Gue Ro and asked carefully, "What's wrong with Long Fei?" Gue Ro looked at Aoya and shook his head, crying as he said, "Esichis Destiny God, lower your Destiny God spear." Woo-woo. He couldn't continue. In that situation, forget about Long Fei. Even the strongest person in the Chaos Realm, the #1 powerhouse on the Heavenly Emperor ranking, could not bear it. How could Long Fei possibly block it? Aoya's body trembled. Yang Yu's body immediately fell to the ground, his eyes lifeless. He continuously shook his head and said, "No, no, Long Fei will not die, no matter how difficult it is. He will not die." Nyo Dashin roared out, "Boss, I'm really useless." The leader of the Orca waved the stone axe in his hand, clamped his legs, and shouted, "Or's tribe, you have never been afraid. Kill." Hualin looked at the large wave of Orca on the other side, rushing toward rolling sand and dust. Kunlun-Zi also saw it and said, "They have come to help us. Hualin, guard here." Finished. Kunlun-Zi rushed forward. If the 8 King Kong was going to live, so was his Kunlun sect's disciple. His current target right now wasn't the 9 secret warrior family, but the Destiny God. Boom, boom, boom. Or's tribe and Kunlun-Zi rushed into the rolling sand at almost the same time. The desolate locusts, larger than humans, were frantically attacking. Kunlun-Zi continued to fight and killed crazily. Or's tribe was unbridled and unbridled. It was just that. They couldn't defend against the locusts' attacks at all, and were forced to retreat step by step. In another place, ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for accepting the inheritance of the Azura King. The reward is 100 experience points, 100 holy source points, and a special reward of 100 points. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Shura's life form. Ding! System prompt. Do you wish to return to Chaos Realm? Go back. One of the great desolate locusts below Long Fei's, but was crushed into a pile of meat paste, while the surrounding ground locusts were the same. All of them were shaken to the point of having their brains shattered, their heads blown off, their bodies exploding, completely unable to take care of themselves. Ding! 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 The system rang out crazily. In the blink of an eye, the large swarms of wasteland locusts were killed by the force that erupted from Long Fei's body. In just half a minute. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Moon Stage Level 7. This speed. It really was a tantrum. Long Fei himself was a little surprised. Ha ha ha. Sitting down and leveling up, this is too great. Ha ha. He retracted his aura. The dust was immediately suppressed by Long Fei, who slowly walked out of the deep pit. The surrounding people were all looking at him, especially those Beast Clan warriors. They all looked at Long Fei as if he was a god, and their hearts were filled with indescribable shock. This human was too awesome. Kunlun Zi and the Kunlun sect disciples were incomparably excited. It's back. It's back. Ha ha ha. Who the F***K says God is irreversible. Boss has proven with his strength that there are no irreversible people in this world. It's the same for gods. Aoya, Yangyu, and Gue Ro ran over. He threw himself into Long Fei's embrace and started to cry from excitement. Long Fei patted their backs and said, "It's okay, it's okay, everything's fine." The fact that 3 exceptional beauties were in the arms of a man made the orca feel even more envious. At the same time, they felt even more respect for him. Li Yuanba laughed. Sky Soul smiled and clenched his fists. The other Vajra also laughed. At this moment, in their hearts, they steeled their hearts and swore to themselves, "I must work hard to cultivate. I must break through the shackles within my body. I must." Huolin also laughed. Sect Master is awesome, the #1 person in history. After comforting the 3 women, Long Fei looked at the group of Beastman warriors not far away, and suddenly realized that the leader of the Beastmen leaders had an exclamation mark floating above his head. Mission? Long Fei was slightly startled and walked forward. Kunlun Zi immediately said, "If it wasn't for them, we would have already been eaten by these locusts." Long Fei immediately said, "Thank you for everyone's help." The leader of the Beastmen said, "Or's tribe, you can't just watch until you die. There's no need to thank me." The task was not triggered. Long Fei did not give up and said, "In order to express my gratitude, if Brother Beast has any difficulties, just let me know. I will definitely help out with everything I have." The leader of the Beast race hugged his fists and said, "No, no, no." While they were talking, his eyes never stopped looking at the corpses of the locusts in the Great Wasteland. These locusts belonged to high-level demon beast, and all of them had crystal cores in their bodies. These crystal cores were the most precious resources in Great Wilderness Land. It was just that. The Orse tribe had its own rules. The crystal nucleus would belong to whoever killed the demon beast. At this time, a orca said, "Leader, if we don't bring enough crystals back this time, Hu Qianba will not let our clansmen off." "Yeah, he still has my wife and children." "Leader, since they've already said so, we can't help but appreciate their kindness." "Yeah, we really need this crystal core." This was a large amount of crystal cores, enough for them to use. Long Fei didn't wait for the leader of the orca to speak and directly said, "You guys also participated in hunting these great, desolate locusts. You guys should share the crystal cores." The leader of the orca looked grateful as he said respectfully, "Thank you, sir." Still no task triggered. Long Fei was a little puzzled. The exclamation mark above his head must have a quest. It couldn't be wrong. But how could it be triggered? From their discussion just now, Long Fei heard the name, Hu Qianba, and casually asked, "Is there anyone bullying you?" One of the orcas did not think too much into it, and said, "Hu Qianba, this treacherous person pretended to have a gigantic Bemin beast for himself, to us, not waiting for him to finish." Long Fei's heart trembled. Bemin. Chapter 13:15, God's Martial Sect Branch. Chapter 13:15, God's Martial Sect Branch. Is this the key to the quest? Long Fei thought in his heart. Then he said, "Bemin, an existence in the spatial turbulence that is even fiercer than a devouring world beast. This guy is simply too strong." Long Fei's yearning towards the Bemin never stopped. However, that time was when he was inside a secret world. Long Fei did not even know the exact location, and after entering the Chaos Realm, there was no way to find it. Now that he had heard news of the Bemin, he naturally would not let it go so easily. At this time, one of the orcas said, "Master, can you help us take back our home?" Long Fei looked at him. At this time, the leader of the orcas stared at the talking orca and said solemnly, "The matters regarding the Orse tribe should be resolved by himself." "Leader, you should know better than I what kind of person Hu Qianbai is. This time, you need us to prepare 500 crystal cores. We definitely need 1,000 next time. Where can we find these in the great wilderness land? As long as we don't find him, he will kill our family members. He has a Bemin beast, and all of us together are not his match." The orca said. A few other orcas also suggested. The Bemin were too fierce, and Hu Qianba was too treacherous. He had always used their loved ones to threaten, control them, and make them his slaves. A orca said, "Leader, don't tell me you don't want to save your sister?" The leader's face tightened. He looked at Long Fei and asked, "Master, can you help us?" "Ha ha." Long Fei laughed inwardly and said, "I've been waiting for you to say that." And then Long Fei nodded his head. "Just now you saved my brother and friends. If you have any difficulties, I will definitely help you out." Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for triggering the quest to help Orse tribe take back their home. Mission: helping the Orse tribe to regain his homeland level. A time: 1 month reward. 100,000 experience points, 10,000 holy source points, 10,000 points, a special item. Special hint: if you get an SSS rank score, you can get clues about Heart of Phoenix S or their quest. Huh. Long Fei was secretly shocked. Heart of Phoenix, clues about the goddess tier mission? These two were SSS level missions. The rewards were also very generous, moreover. Jojo. Who? Long Fei exhaled lightly in his heart and thought to himself, "Jojo, I will definitely revive you." The orca leader was grateful and said, "Thank you, thank you. You are the first good person I have met." After collecting the crystals in the bodies of the locusts, the orca led the way while Long Fei and the others followed behind. The soul losting powder in 8 King Kong had not been taken care of. Long Fei did not help them immediately because he wanted 8 King Kong and the rest to break through this barrier by themselves, as this would bring about a different kind of power to them. He would also let them remember this lesson on the road to Beast City. Sect leader, what plans do you have for the future? Kunlun-Zi asked. Long Fei looked up at the sky and thought of what the Shura King had told him. He had to find some heaven-defying beings that dared to gather these people to form a great army that could go against the heavens. Long Fei said, "Now that the Kunlun sect has been turned into this, I cannot shirk my responsibility. If it were not for the fact that the three big factions will not attack the Kunlun sect, all of you would not have suffered so many casualties. Huolin immediately asked, Sect Master, what are you saying? You are the only one who has passed the life and death trials. You are the only one from the ancestor Kunlun. If not for you this time, we would all have died in the Kunlun sect. Moreover, you have shown us that those who can fight against God and survive are destined to not be mortals. The powerhouse was truly admirable. Powerhouse who could compete with gods was even more admirable. Long Fei hesitated for a while, but still said, I was once a person from another world, and in the other world I established a sect called God's Martial Sect. I want your Kunlun sect to become a branch of the God's Martial Sect. Are you willing? This is just a suggestion. You can just reject it. If Long Fei wanted to merge the Kunlun sect, then it would increase the God's Martial Sect strength and level. The Hell Gate, the Bounty Gate, and the 10,000 Alliance sect were all too powerful. If Long Fei didn't have his own powerful forces, he wouldn't have been able to contend against them. He had to do what the Azura King had told him to do. It was imperative to develop his own strength, especially those dragon ancestral saints in the God's Martial Continent, as well as Lu Luashi and the others. If they could all die from this, Long Fei's experience points would increase by more than a fold, and he would level up very quickly. Just as Long Fei finished speaking, Huolin looked at him curiously and said, Sect Master, you're the Sect Master of the Kunlun sect. Your words are the orders. Kunlunzi also said, You just need to be in charge of these things. There is no need to discuss it with us. If you agree, then what about the other disciples? We have to ask for their opinion. After all, this, without waiting for Long Fei to finish speaking, Huolin turned to the disciples behind him and said, Sect Master has set up a division of our Kunlun sect and has assigned it to the main alliance. Are you willing? Many disciples had the same expression as Huolin and said, It is enough for Sect Master to decide on this matter immediately. Yeah. Why are you still discussing with us? The old man nodded his head. Great Wilderness Land is a territory of the Orca. Although it is barren, the territory is huge, and there are still many unknown domains. You have to firmly control them. Hu Tianba immediately nodded and said, I understand this is the Xian Yuan Sword Sect strategic request. I will definitely remember it in my heart. As for... The elder looked at Hu Tianba. Hu Tianba immediately understood and said, I have long since been prepared for you, elder. At this moment, bang, bang, the city leader's mansion's door was directly knocked flying. Elder was surprised and slightly angry. Is this what you prepared? Hu Tianba's face sank and said, No, how could I dare? While they were talking, Hu Tianba's heart ached as he took out a golden card from his bosom. Elder, there are 100 Xian crystal in here. In addition, not waiting for him to finish, bang, bang, there were 2 more muffled sounds from the front yard, and 2 guards died on the spot. Hu Tianba was also enraged. She shouted loudly, Men, what happened? A guard hurriedly ran back and said, Sir, it's bad, it's bad. What's the matter? Could it be that Leighton brought the Ors tribe in? Hu Tianba did not panic. Today, not only were there the Bemin S, there were also the elders of the Xian Yuan Sword Sect. The guard said, It's not the Orca, it's a person. He immediately rushed in. Huh. People. Hu Tianba was startled. He felt suspicious in his heart. In Great Wilderness Land, I have never offended anyone. Why is there someone who is against me? F***CK, his grandmother. What kind of cats and dogs would come to my head to piss and shit? Are you tired of living? Bang, bang. Without waiting for him to finish speaking, another 2 guards flew out and died on the spot. The system beep rang. With his energy values raised to 100 points, Long Fei said without hesitation, "Use first level Berserk Domain Treasure Series." If there was a main gun last time, there was no reason at all for him to kill gods, Scorpio. Of course, if the main temple found out that Long Fei was using main gun, then he was no longer living in this world, and he would die without a single scrap remaining. "Yes, I'm tired of living." Long Fei just happened to hear Hu Qianba's voice and smiled. "How many guards do you have left?" "Kill them all today." Hu Qianba took a step forward, his lips curled into a disdainful smile. "I had thought that it was just a strong cultivation and was only at the moon stage. A trash like you dares to be in my territory. You want to die? I'll help you. Men, kill them." As soon as he finished, dozens of elite disciples rushed out from the two sides of the hall and surrounded the two of them. Long Fei sneered, "Nine Yang Divine Technique." Buzz. A thick energy exploded out. His hands moved. Suck star over China. His palms swept out. The powerful suction force directly sucked in all of the power they were attacking. The blood essence was swallowed up, and the strength was absorbed. The power in Long Fei's hands exploded. Explode. Boom. A loud sound echoed out. Ding, ding, ding. After the sound system was activated, Long Fei shouted, "Release Level 1 Berserk Domain Treasure Series. Fill up the main gun." Level 1 Berserk Domain Treasure Series. Fill up main gun. At any time, the main gun would have to be filled to the brim. That way, no matter how strong the expert was, he would have the power to kill with a single blow. Ding. System notification. The energy of the main gun has been filled up. Hu Qianba's eyes were in a daze. His body was trembling as he became a little afraid. This guy. Elder. Hu Qianba's cultivation level was not strong. His energy was obtained by controlling beasts. Otherwise, with his status, it would be impossible for him to be the city lord. That elder laughed coldly and said, "Brat, today, regardless of who you are, regardless of what background you have, if you provoke the Xian Yuan sword sect, you will die." As soon as he finished, a sword flew out and locked onto Long Fei's forehead. Whoosh! Long Fei's fist sank as he coldly laughed. Blood Moon Punch. One punch KO. Chapter 1317. SSS Task Score. Chapter 1317. SSS Task Score. Once the punch was thrown, death would appear. Before the sword of the Xian Yuan sword sect elder landed, it was instantly killed by Long Fei's fist. Bam! Smashing into the great hall, Zhang Xian collapsed, and a mouthful of blood spurted out from his mouth. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Elder of Xian Yuan Sword Sect for obtaining 18,000 experience. Holy Source 2,000, 10 energy points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 100 Xian Crystal. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Sea Heaven Blade. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. The system sounded out continuously. As usual, other than a few specific things being eaten by the sky-swallowing rat, the sky-swallowing rat was still sound asleep and did not want to wake up at all. You dare kill an elder of the Xian Yuan sword sect. You. Hu Qianba's voice trembled. His eyes were filled with incomparable shock. Are you crazy? The Xian Yuan sword sect was the absolute ruler of this area, a giant existence. The sword faction elder's status was even more incomparably lofty. He was able to kill them just like that. Not only that, he had killed him in a single punch without giving him any face at all. This person was definitely a fool, even if he wasn't a lunatic. Can't we kill him? Long Fei stepped onto the stairs and walked into the hall. Hu Qianba said, "Brat, you are dead. If I were you, I would have immediately escaped into the depths of the wasteland and would never appear again." Without waiting for Hu Qianba to finish speaking, the corner of Long Fei's mouth hooked up into a cold smile. "If I were you, then I should be considering my own situation right now." Indeed, Hu Qianba was too shocked that the elder of the Xian Yuan sword sect was killed. He never thought that Long Fei would be able to kill an elder of the sword sect. Hearing Long Fei's words, Hu Qianba's face turned pale, and his body immediately began to tremble. "Who exactly are you?" Long Fei said, "Is it important who I am? Didn't that person say it just now? No matter who I am, no matter what kind of background I have, I will die. It's all the same. Stop talking. Go ahead, I'll send you on your way." Long Fei's footsteps moved. He was waiting for someone who did not instantly kill Hu Qianba. SSS grade scores are difficult to obtain. It was even more difficult than completing the SSS level quest. The Hu Qianba in front of him was probably the key factor in the SSS grade assessment. Long Fei was trying to see if he could obtain anything from him. However, the result was not. Hu Qianba's gaze turned sinister as he shouted, "Brat, don't think that just because you defeated the sword faction's elder I will be afraid of you and act atrociously in front of me. I'll kill you." As soon as he finished, Hu Qianba moved and roared, "Bemin, kill him!" Long Fei's body exploded, releasing all of the power of the 7th level of the moon stage. The Bemin on the roof suddenly shouted, "Bemin, I am Long Fei!" Rumble! The punch landed. The defense on Long Fei's body was instantly crushed. As his body rolled on the ground, he was blown away by a strong wave of air. Too terrifying. Hu Qianba laughed loudly. "You are Long Fei? Ha ha ha. Even if you are the Dragon King, it's useless." Long Fei. The Bemin's heart slightly sunk. His eyes earnestly looked at Long Fei, who was on the ground, and he looked completely different from his boss. Immediately, it was as if he had been cheated. His strength increased. The Bemin's intelligence wasn't high. He only had looks when he was in the gods' martial continent. He recognized Long Fei. As for the other Long Fei, he did not recognize any of them, and whoever tried to pass themselves off as Long Fei, they would have to die. The Bemin became even more furious. Boom, boom. Hu Qianba's fist was like a storm The entire city lord's mansion was reduced to ruins in the blink of an eye. Hu Qianba did not feel any heartache at all. Ha ha ha. Boy, aren't you Long Fei? Ha ha ha. Hu Qianba laughed complacently as he watched Long Fei hide and hide. He had never seen the Bemin so angry. He thought to himself, "Brat, you're dead for sure." Leighton rushed over with the Orca S. Kunlunzi also caught up. Long Fei's heart moved. My appearance has changed, but 8 King Kong's appearance has not changed. I must know them. Immediately, Long Fei immediately asked, "Where is 8 King Kong?" Kunlunzi stared blankly for a moment, then said, "Sect master, they are all cultivating in meditation on the spot. I asked Hualin to stay behind and protect them. So, Long Fei was speechless. At this moment, the Bemin roared again in anger. "I knew you were lying to me. Do you think I'm that easy to deceive? And you still want your big brother's 8 King Kong to trick me? Humph, I'm even angrier." When the Bemin's voice fell, both its fists exploded, shooting up into the sky. Rumble! Rumble! The power of his fists emitted traces of lightning in the clouds. It was as if he was holding the entire sky in his hands. The visual impact of a giant that linked the heavens and the earth was too strong. It was indescribably powerful. Everyone was stupefied when they saw this. Leighton's eyes were trembling as he muttered, "Mother, even the number 1 war god of the beast race doesn't have such a powerful strength. Isn't it too powerful?" Kunlunzi was also trembling in fear as he said, "The Bemin large monster is really too strong. Long Fei, Grand Master, quickly, 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 quickly. His target is you." The Orca S were all trembling. The entire beast city was trembling in fear. The power that the Bemin large monster had unleashed was even stronger than that of their legendary war god. Hu Qianba was also incomparably shocked, but he was even more excited. "Ha ha! Crush these people! Kill them all! Kill them all! Kill them all!" He was truly infuriated. Long Fei's heart was also filled with rage. "Seems like you won't admit it if you don't use force." "All right." Long Fei roared in his heart, "Xiu Luo, divine body." The inheritance of the Azura king belonged to Long Fei himself, just like the inheritance of the blood vein. Unconvinced, not acknowledge. It would have to be a matter of violence. Moreover, it was already too late to call the 8 King Kong at this time. There was not enough time. Buzz. The red armor was released and overlapped on Long Fei's body one by one. And then Long Fei rushed forward, shwa, rushing into the air. His voice was heavy as he said, "In the flow of time and space, I saved you, and it was I who brought you to Chaos Realm. It was you who killed those heavens people, and it was you who liked to eat the roast meat I made. It was you." They kept talking about what had happened at that time. Finally, Long Fei said in a heavy voice, "You don't admit? Then I will hit you until you admit to it." The Bemin crashed its fist down into the air. "You're still lying to me. You want to hit me until I admit to it. Humph, I'll F***K you up." Imitating Long Fei's tone, she smashed towards Long Fei, who was still flying in the air. Divine body. Buzz. The power of the powerful Xiu Luo divine body erupted and clashed head-on. Rumble! His divine body sank. It was as if the power of his divine body had split apart. Long Fei was shocked in his heart. This power is simply abnormal. The power of the Destiny God Spear was able to shatter the Azura divine armor because it was the power of the Destiny God. Bemin is not a god, it's just a giant beast. His strength had caused the Azura divine armor to nearly split apart. Just how fierce was this? However, at this moment, The power under Long Fei's feet surged, and his fists were like hammers as they heavily smashed towards the chest of the Bemin. And he said, "Flipping you over. I was the one who said those words. Do you understand? I am Long Fei, the one and only Long Fei." His voice sank. Long Fei smashed onto the Bemin's chest. And then he spoke again, taking advantage of your illness. "I will take your life. I'll hit you until you admit it." Boom, boom, boom. Punch, 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 punch. The power of a fist, and an Azura's body exploded in the Bemin's chest. Are you convinced? Admit it or not? At the same time, Long Fei kept talking about what had happened in the secret world. Chapter 1319, The Awakening of the Second Power. Chapter 1319, The Awakening of the Second Power. If you refuse to accept it, I will beat you until you admit defeat. Not admitting it until you admit it. The power of the Azura's body brought with it the power of God as it violently struck down, directly pressing the Bemin onto the ground. He bellowed, "Have you sobered up a little? Did it ring? You're still unconscious, right?" Long Fei struck out a few more times. However, Long Fei controlled his strength to the point that it was near death and only crushed the Bemin. He did not try to harm him at all. And furthermore, with a punch, Long Fei's heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. It was incomparably painful, listening to what Long Fei said, and hearing that Long Fei had the intention to control his strength. The Bemin suddenly calmed down and did not resist nor take action. Similarly, he did not speak. At this moment, Hu Qianba was unhappy. The idea moved. It opened its right hand and shouted in a deep voice, "Damned beast! I did not catch you here to make you look like a fool. I did not want you to be beaten up by others. I wanted you to burst out with power and kill all these people. He is the beast trainer. He was the first one to discover and control the Bemin. With the movement of his idea, the powerful beast taming power crashed into the Bemin's sea of consciousness. The Bemin's face darkened in incomparable discomfort. At the same time, the poison whip in Hu Qianba's hand slashed across the air and fiercely whipped out as he said solemnly, "Rise, you dog, and blast these trash to death." "Pa!" The moment the whip fell, Long Fei's eyes flashed with anger. His body suddenly blocked, using his own body to block the poison whip for the Bemin. Slash! Hu Qianba was the one who specially dealt with the Bemin, this gigantic beast. Its power was boundless, and when it hit its body, the pain was unbearable. Long Fei lowered his body and clenched his fists. The Bemin was dumbfounded. At this time, Hu Qianba laughed coldly and said, "You like to help this beast block the whip, right? Then block it for me. Whoosh, 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 asterisk, pa, pa, pa." The continuous 3 lashes lashed out, and for a time, the skin on Long Fei's back was torn. He was in incomparable pain, but he did not show any signs of pain, and asked the Bemin instead, "Do you remember now?" There were only 3 seconds left. If one were to talk about defeating the Bemin, he had already defeated it just now. However, the system did not make any sound. What was the real defeat? Was to make him admit that Long Fei was his boss. Seeing the blood dripping down Long Fei's back, the Bemin immediately thought of the huge turbulence that they had encountered in the spatial turbulence. It was also Long Fei who had used his body to help him block it. Drip, drip, 2 seconds had passed, and only 1 second remained. If he could not defeat her, then this quest, Long Fei's heart sank. It was at this moment. The Bemin looked at Long Fei with blazing eyes. At the same time, Hu Qianba lashed out with his whip once again, roaring out, "You dog, I've raised you for all these years for nothing." A whip struck towards the Bemin's head. Long Fei still blocked it. The Bemin suddenly stood up, grabbed the poison whip, and fiercely pulled it. Bam! Hu Qianba was caught off guard and was whipped to the front of the Bemin. looking at the gigantic Bemin. His body trembled, and his face immediately turned pale white. You. Not waiting for him to finish, Bemin punched. Bang. He directly nailed Hu Tianba's body to the ground, leaving only half of his head behind. His entire body exploded with blood, and his eyes bulged out like those of a demon. You dog, you will all die, and all of you will die. Xian Yuan sword sect will not let you off. Crack! The Bemin stomped down once again, instantly pushing him into the ground. Only a handful of his hair was left on the ground. At this moment, the Bemin kneeled down and said, "Boss." Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the 1 minute to defeat the Bemin mission. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing Help Group Or's Tribe S to take back their homes. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for receiving a reward of 100,000 experience, 10,000 Holy Source, 10,000 points, and a double experience card with a special item. It was also at this time an interface for the evaluation of missions appeared in Long Fei's mind. Zhang Xian's heart tightened. Long Fei thought, "Please bless me, Master, if only I could get SSS grade points." The clue to Jojo's revival was inside. Suddenly, after the results of the rating were out, 3 golden S's appeared on the interface. Long Fei finally let out a sigh of relief in his heart and thought to himself, SSS class evaluation, IF*CK, am really too godly. It was even more difficult than completing the SSS level mission. It could be said that Long Fei's quest completion had reached perfection. It was also at this time the system sounded out once again. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining an SSS level mission score and obtaining a special reward for the quest. Great Wilderness Abyss. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a SSS level mission score for the first time and obtaining a special reward. The reward is Xianyuan Emperor's essence. Long Fei's mind shook and was a little confused. Great Emperor Xuanyuan's essence energy? Damn, so fierce. Item, Profound Qi of Emperor Xianyuan grade. Attribute. Description. It was a string of question marks. Long Fei muttered in his heart, "What the F***K is this? Should I fuse them? I'm going all out." Long Fei trembled inside. Great Emperor Xianyuan, just with this title alone, he has already suppressed everyone. Even if it's his essence energy, it's still an incredible existence. And then Long Fei moved his body and said, "Merge." Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Emperor Xuanyuan's essence with 100 experience, Holy Source with 100 points, and with 100 points as a special reward. After fusing them, Long Fei's body did not change at all, and he started to feel a little dissatisfied. Damn, where's the bullshit? What Xianyuan Emperor's essence energy? It's about the same as shit. He felt cheated. At this moment, Long Fei's body suddenly erupted with power. This was a power that he had never felt before. Rumble! 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 Tens of thousands of thunderous roars resounded from within his body. Long Fei's expression tightened, and he started to be cautious. He was completely unable to control the power within his body, and his idea could not penetrate it at all. "Boss, what's wrong?" "Master, Lord Dragon." Everyone saw Long Fei's expression change and surrounded him. Long Fei himself could not describe the feeling. It was as if a power had been activated within his body. This power seemed to have absorbed all of the energy that Long Fei had just absorbed from Emperor Xuanyuan's profound spirit qi. Chemical reaction? F***CK. What the hell is he doing? Long Fei thought about what the Azura King had said about the great power that was hidden in his body. What could it be? Chapter 1320, Super Meat Shield Warrior. Chapter 1320, Super Meat Shield Warrior Long Fei's body contained a power that shook the heaven and earth. Rooting, breaking the soil, sprouting. The world shook. Long Fei had never felt this power before, so when he felt how powerful this power was, his heart was also extremely moved. It was just that. The time for the chemical reaction ended quickly. The power once again vanished without a trace, completely gone. It was as if she had never appeared in Long Fei's body before. What's going on? What kind of plane is this? What the hell did you do to my body? If you want to come, you can come. If you want to leave, you can leave. Long Fei was unavoidably angry in his heart. He had clearly felt that powerful force just now, but now there was nothing left. How could he not be angry? However, no one answered him. Neither did the system. After pausing for half a minute, he still could not see any aura from the energy in his body. So Long Fei could only give up and muttered in his heart, "Damn, he's not giving me any face at all." Soon after, Long Fei regained his senses. Seeing everyone's worried look, he said, "I'm fine." At this moment, inside his body, the seed of the Great Circle's celestial tribulation had taken root. It had broken through and had begun to sprout. Under the nurturing of Emperor Xuanyuan's essence energy, the seed began to germinate. It was an extremely powerful force. However, with Long Fei's current cultivation, he was simply unable to sense its existence. Earlier, it was also because he had absorbed the aura of Great Emperor Xuanyuan that he underwent a metamorphosis. Otherwise, Long Fei would not have been able to sense it. At this time, Long Fei had already forgotten about the matter of the second power in his body. He walked to the front of the Bemin and said, "Bemin, I've finally found you. Ha ha ha. From today onwards, you will follow me." The Bemin was also incomparably excited and said, "Yes, boss." Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for recruiting Super Beast Bemin into God's martial sect. Ding! Congratulations, God's martial sect, for leveling up. The gang in front is at level 4. Huh. The association has leveled up. Long Fei really did not think that. Although he thought that the gang could only increase their power by a little, he did not think that they could actually level up. It was just a Bemin. Immediately, Long Fei thought, seems like raising cultivation level can also raise the rank of a sect. I have to make the 8 King Kong and the disciples of Kunlun's sect cultivate quickly. However, the place they were sitting at was the Great Wilderness Land, also known as a barren land. Only the Orse tribe could survive in this kind of place. As for the ordinary warriors who lived here, they would never be able to break through. What warriors needed were the heaven and earth spirit chi and the Xian crystal resources. Chapter 1321, Gan Mo Xie. Chapter 1321, Gan Mo Xie, the disciples of Kunlun's sect, were cultivating. Long Fei divided the 100-plus Xian crystal S that appeared to them. These 100-plus Xian crystal were only enough for them to cultivate for 5 days. The heavenly energy in this place was too sparse, and they were unable to sense it. Apart from them, the beast race was also cultivating. They also needed resources, and the weapons in their hands were all primitive ones, without much lethality. In the room, huff, Long Fei took out a loyalty stone that was rewarded by the system. The idea used the power that the weapon's master possessed and muttered, "The first time I fused with it, I hope it will succeed." He adjusted his breathing and calmed his heart. Long Fei's idea moved and said, "Fusion." The loyalty stone could retain the power of possession, or perhaps the power of the call card S Peace Forever. In other words, it would forever exist within Long Fei's body. Unlike old Lord Taishang's possession time, it would be lost. There were still 3 Long Fei-s who did not use the system's reward. The Weapon Master had the power of possession, and the Human Emperor had the power of Fushi. Each of the 3 powers had their own special characteristics. The super item that the Human Emperor Fushi level 6 had appeared with, his attack power was without a doubt definitely devastating. However, the success rate of such a supreme power fusion was extremely low. Moreover, Long Fei didn't need to use this power yet. Absolutely, he was Xiaozhong's intelligence expert. It was the same for him, had no way to use his power at the moment. It was an auxiliary power that allowed Long Fei to master the Weapon Master, the refining force. This was the most crucial point. In order to raise the strength of the association and raise its combat prowess, weapons were essential. The possession strength of a weapons master was of utmost importance. This was also Long Fei's only choice at the moment. It was useless to be strong in the Chaos Realm alone, but he wanted everyone around him to be strong. The power behind him was strong, and only then would he be able to oppress everything. Long Fei's ultimate goal was not Chaos Realm, but divinity, ancient holy battlefield. Han Ba and the Shura King had both said that if they wanted to change the structure of this world and redivide the power of law, they could only do it through the ancient holy battlefield. If his god's martial sect could carve a path of blood in the ancient holy battlefield, then, to go against the heavens and change fate, to overturn main temple was not difficult at all. The loyalty stone's energy was slowly released. The energy wrapped around the Weapon Master energy and started to seep through. The Weapons Master's possession isn't the hero of the LOL, Jax. Long Fei told Lei Dun his purpose for coming here, and it hadn't even been 5 minutes. Lei Dun called for people to bring over a load of refining essence ores. They were all high-grade ores. Boss, is that enough? If it's not enough, I'll get someone else to pull it. This kind of ore might be worth a bit of money outside, but the most useful thing here was to build walls. Long Fei was dumbstruck. Enough, enough, enough. After that, he took the cart of ore back to his residence, where the crafting furnace was already prepared. And then, Long Fei moved the idea. The holy source ignited the flames in the cauldron. The idea moved and said, "Weapon Master's power, activate. Great General, we pay our respects to the Lord." Mo Xie pays her respects to the Lord. Long Fei did not dawdle and directly said, "Artifact forging." After fusing Mo Xie's power into his body, Long Fei's expression immediately changed. His entire person's expression changed, and his holy source roared. The fire soared. As soon as the ore was thrown into the fire, it turned into molten iron in an instant. It poured into the mold, and in an instant, it looked like a cold mountain spring water. Heat again. He began to beat them vigorously. This speed. Furthermore, Long Fei could feel that while they were refining, their powers were being injected into the weapon bit by bit. This feeling was similar to that of old Lord Taishang's alchemy. This was the power of possession. What they possessed not only was the refining techniques, but they also had the ability to infuse their divine power into their weapons. That was the main point. His speed became faster and faster. A weapon was quickly produced. In less than 3 minutes. Ding! Chapter 1322. Heaps of Holy Artifact. Chapter 1322. Heaps of Holy Artifact. This speed. What an explosive god! The system sounded out, causing Long Fei to hold his breath and wait quietly. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Flame War Hammer. Flame War Hammer. Long Fei was a little excited. He opened up the system to check the attributes of the Flame War Hammer. Weapon, Flame War Hammer grade, divine level description. activates the flames with his strength. A strike from the hammer has an extremely strong destructive force. It has a 200% increase in damage. Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! It's a God-ranked weapon. Furthermore, it also contains the fire element. Furthermore, it can increase damage by 200%. This is truly the tempo of a god exploding. Long Fei was ecstatic. If all Orca-s were equipped with this kind of warhammer, their fighting strength would increase by several-fold instantly. And then Long Fei moved and said, "Continue. Refine all of these minerals." The bandit began to busy Mo Xie crazily. Long Fei did not care about anything else. He just wanted to refine the equipment. Every weapon he took out was a divine ranked equipment. Suddenly he felt that he no longer had any goals in life. Every single one of the divine items that they refined was of the highest quality among the divine items. Any one of them was an existence that was as valuable as a city. Long Fei had cultivated to a state of darkness. A Xianyuan sword sect within the main hall of the mystic origin stage. The elder sent out hasn't come back yet. Do you think that group of barbarians would dare to act rashly? Those Orca-s are not Elder Feng's match at all. Could it be that Hu Qianba is messing around? He doesn't have the guts. There was a flurry of discussion in the hall. Today was the day of handing in the crystal cores. All the elders sent by Xian Yuan sword sect had returned. Only Elder Feng, who was sent to Great Wilderness Land, did not. Logically speaking, even if he hadn't received enough crystal cores, he should have come back to report. However, he didn't either. Something must have happened. Chen Xuanzong frowned and said faintly, "Send someone to check on the situation of the beast city. If necessary, teach those beasts a lesson." "Yes, sir." The meeting ended. Chen Xuanzong did not linger, but quickly returned to his own courtyard and looked at the black-robed elder in the courtyard. His eyes revealed a trace of fear. He was not afraid of this person. It could be said, in terms of strength, he didn't even put this old man in his eyes. But he was still very afraid. What he was afraid of was the pattern embroidered on the elder's back. The bloody gates of hell. "My lord." Chen Xuanzong respectfully called out. The old man turned around and asked coldly, "Is the ancient spiritual artifact ready yet?" Chen Xuanzong did not dare to delay and immediately stepped forward, taking out two things from the space ring, and said, "According to your instructions, these two are ancient spiritual artifact." The old man felt it and laughed. "Not bad. All of them are ancient spiritual artifact. Sect Master Chen, your mission is completed well. I will praise you to Hellgate." "Thank you, my lord." As long as he could obtain the protection of the Hellgate, then his Xianyuan sword sect would become the overlord of this land and this area with a radius of millions of kilometers. He, Chen Xuanzong, would become the overlord. The current Hellgate was even more incredible. After the coup, when the 9 secret warrior family took control of the Hellgate, his decadence was instantly controlled. And in addition to the influence of the number 1 genius of the 9 secret warrior family, Zhan Wushuang, Hellgate once again became the number 1 power in Chaos Realm. Zhan Wushuang also quickly rushed from the Emperor list into the Son of God ranking. Most importantly, he had successfully passed the Tower Question of God's test. Once he came out from the Tower Question of God, he would probably directly become a super powerhouse on the Sky Emperor board, the peak powerhouse of Chaos Realm. Xianyuan Li'er was also with him. It had to be said that the Xianyuan family and the 9 secret warrior family were in an alliance. Xianyuan Li'er was even Zhan Wushuang's fiancé. This also meant that the power of the Hellgate had reached an unshakable level. As long as he could get on this large ship like the Hellgate, he would not need to fear the wind and waves. Chun Xuanzong had such a thought. The old man laughed coldly as he looked at Chun Xuanzong as if he was looking at a pitiful dog. He took out a command tablet and said, "This is the Hell Gate's command tablet. There is no one in this chaos realm who dares to go against the Hell Gate anymore." He threw the token away. He threw it on the ground. Chun Xuanzong immediately knelt on the ground and picked it up with both hands. He was so happy that it was a complete mess, and he said gratefully, "Thank you, Master. Thank you, Master. Thank you, Master." With this token, he would have even more peace of mind. The old man laughed coldly and said, "Keep looking for ancient spiritual artifact, the more the better." Chun Xuanzong immediately replied, "This subordinate understands. But, Master, why must we look for so many ancient spiritual treasure? With the level of the ancient spiritual treasure, their quality can't even compare to that of the holy artifact. Why?" The old man from the Hell Gate glared at him. Chun Xuanzong was so scared that he immediately knelt on the ground and did not dare to look at the old man anymore, and said, "It's my fault. I should not have asked further. I hope that clan elder can forgive me." The old man snorted, "Remember, this is the first time. I am not allowed to ask twice, so don't ask me what you shouldn't ask. Forget about Chun Xuanzong. Even he wanted to know. He only knew that the elders of the Hell Gate were frantically searching for the ancient spiritual treasure, and the more ancient spiritual treasure they found, the higher their position would be, and all these ancient spiritual treasure had to be handed over to one person, Zhan Wushuang, youth master of Hell Gate. As for what he wanted to do, no one knew. Many people wanted to know. Thousand Alliance sect, Bounty Gate, all the powerful forces in the Chaos Realm, they all wanted to know what exactly the Hell Gate wanted to do with all those ancient spiritual artifacts. Not long later, the old man left Xian Yuan Sword Sect. Chun Xuanzong stood up from the ground and looked at the Hell's Medallion in his hand and couldn't help but reveal an excited smile. "With this medallion, I can rule this place forever." Beast City. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the holy artifact, Water Warhammer. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the holy artifact. This kind of system beep lasted for an entire day and night, until Long Fei completely refined all of the holy source's value. One day and one night of refining, the ore that had been delivered to the 3 carts had all been completed, and the divine level weapons refined by Long Fei had already been piled to the size of a small mountain. Awesome! Ha ha ha! Although Long Fei was not the one who was refining the pill for a whole day and night, it was his body that was moving, and outside of the holy source, he was also using up his mental energy. Looking at the pile of holy artifact in the courtyard, Long Fei laughed. "That's too awesome. I have to get more loyalty stone. I want the permanent power of human emperor Fushi." Chapter 1323. I also want to upgrade. Chapter 1323. I also want to upgrade a loyalty stone worth hundreds of millions of points. It's hard. Moreover, fusing both had risks and a chance of failure. Thinking big. The first time he successfully fused with Emocia, he relied entirely on his luck. It was just that. What made Long Fei depressed was that these divine weapons could not be exchanged for points. This was very depressing. And Long Fei had actually thought of exchanging for a few holy artifact and getting a few loyalty stone S to fuse with the power of the level 900 human emperor Fushi. It's not that easy. Someone, come! Long Fei shouted towards the outside. A disciple of the Kunlun sect walked in and said, "Present." Long Fei said, "Go and call the beast race Lei Dun and Huolin over. Tell them that they have something important." "Yes, sir." The disciple left. These divine weapons in the yard were all forged for them. How were they supposed to distribute over 100 divine weapons at once? It was a headache. 10 minutes later, Leighton and Hualin rushed over at the same time. Boss. The two of them spoke at the same time. Long Fei waved his hand and said, I called you all here because I want you all to think of a way to divide these things. Finished. Long Fei pointed to the divine weapons stacked together in the courtyard and said, These are all divine ranked weapons. I've brought the items over for you guys. As for how exactly to divide them, you guys will have to decide for yourselves. I'm sleepy. I'll go rest first. You guys think about it yourselves. Finished. Long Fei entered the room and fell into a deep sleep. The only ones left behind were the dumbstruck Lei Dun and Hualin, who looked at the pile of divine goods in the courtyard. He was stupefied. Yi Zichen was still confused. If it were not for Long Fei, they would have said, You must be crazy. There must be something wrong with your head. Do you think divine weapons are the radish and cabbage on a rotten street? Gudong. Hualin swallowed his saliva, walked forward, and picked up a sword from the ground. The idea moved, and his body suddenly trembled, his eyes sinking. Clang! The sword fell from his hand. Hualin was heavily pushed back several steps, his expression incomparably shocked. Leighton stepped forward and asked, Brother Hua, what's wrong? Hualin was still in the midst of the world impact that the divine weapon had brought him just now. That kind of feeling, it was as if there was a ball of fire igniting within his body before exploding forth, an incomparably intense impact. Hualin said, Try it yourself, and you will know. A divine-level weapon. Not everyone could own it, because it was extremely scarce. Even if Long Fei said that all of these weapons were divine-grade weapons, Hualin was still skeptical in his heart. Isn't this too much? All of them were divine-level weapons. But now, he didn't have the slightest doubt. At this moment, Leighton stepped forward, picked up a hammer, and exerted his strength. Boom! Flames suddenly exploded from the hammer, causing Leighton to immediately drop to the ground in fright. He retreated a few steps like a frightened cat. Stunned, he stared at the hammer on the ground, and his eyes narrowed. My God, this hammer? What? Why is there a fire? Holy artifact! Holy artifact! They are all holy artifact. Hualin was so excited that he wanted to cry. In his entire life, he had never seen holy artifact before. Lei Dun walked forward again and picked up the flame warhammer on the ground. He activated his power and shouted, Boom! The flames began to burn. The power of the warhammer and Leighton's own instantly fused together. Lei could feel the power of the warhammer. That feeling made his blood boil, and all the power in his body exploded forth. A heavy grip. Boom, boom. Leighton suddenly swept the room. Halala! The flames burned the void, their power sweeping through everything. This weapon, this is too awesome. Ha ha ha. If Hualin had never seen the holy artifact before, then he had even less of a chance to see the Thunder Monarch on Great Wilderness Land. He had heard of this when he was teleporting. Now that he held it in his hand, it gave him a feeling as if everything had been crushed. However, these were just two divine weapons, and there was still a whole pile of them in front of them. What should we do? They were also stunned. Ah, holy artifact, how should I deal with it? Leighton said, Each of us will take them down one by one. This way, our combat strength can be said to have instantly increased by several times. They are extremely powerful existences. Hualin had the same thought at the beginning. However, Hualin slightly said, No, one per person can indeed increase our fighting strength, but they will think that it's too easy to get this kind of holy artifact. We have to develop an incentive. Whoever cultivates the fastest will be rewarded one reward. Only in this way will they be able to force out all of their potential. And Only in this way will it be able to last for a long time, and let them know the value of holy artifact. Huolin's brain was naturally faster than Leighton's. Upon hearing his words, he immediately agreed to it. Good idea. I'll let you decide. We, the beast race, have been abandoning ourselves ever since the cataclysm. Many people are unwilling to cultivate. With the God-level stimulation, they will definitely go all out to cultivate. Leighton was excited. The next day, the reward was out. When the Orse tribe received a piece of divine weapon as reward, the entire beast city became excited, while the power of the warrior who was rewarded with a divine weapon instantly doubled. This made all the Orca feel extremely envious. Huolin did not receive any rewards. Did you see that? That divine weapon was given to us by our boss. Chapter 1324. The boss, the moment it appeared, it dropped. Chapter 1324. The boss, the moment it appeared, it dropped. One level was a layer of power. The 7th level of the moon stage wasn't even qualified to enter the Emperor list. Even if Long Fei had killed Emperor list before, and killed the powerhouse on the Son of God ranking, he still did not have the qualifications to enter the Emperor list. Because of the level, 3 great Emperor rankings, 300 powerhouses. They all wanted to fight their way up to the next level, especially the powerhouse on the Heavenly Emperor ranking. He was definitely not someone that anyone could casually enter. You want to enter the Heavenly rankings? Then he had to fight his way up. But now, Long Fei did not even have the qualifications to fight. He had not even reached the level. Upgrade is important. Fire Unicorn. Long Fei summoned his Fire Unicorn and gave him a pill. The Fire Unicorn's body still trembled slightly at that moment. His expression turned ugly. From the moment the sky-swallowing rat came to the war pet space, he had been tremblingly leaning on the corner and did not even dare to move, as though he was afraid that the sky-swallowing rat would eat him if he was careless. The sky-swallowing rat is only level 1. Master, can I not enter the war pet space in the future? The Fire Unicorn slowly recovered its expression as it said with lingering fear. Long Fei said, "Are you that afraid of sky-swallowing rat? He's still a young beast and a child." The Fire Unicorn rolled her eyes at Long Fei and said, "Do you know what it feels like to be carried by the death scythe on your neck?" His body moved slightly, and it almost scared me to death. Sky-swallowing rat, where did you find such a legendary Saint Emperor monster? It could have gotten its life killed. It was extremely painful. The Fire Unicorn begged, "Master, please don't let me be with him. I don't even dare to sleep right now." Long Fei said, "Since you're afraid, then just become strong, and be strong to the point of being fearless." Fire Unicorn, compared to sky-swallowing rat, is there water in my head? Since you're not stronger, then you should just stay in war pet space. We'll talk about it when you have the determination to become stronger. All right, let's talk about this later. I'm going to the depths of the wasteland now. Long Fei turned his body and sat on the back of the Fire Unicorn. The Fire Unicorn moved. In the blink of an eye, he was already 10 kilometers away. At the entrance of Beast City, the 2 sword management disciples landed. Looking at the Orca at the entrance of the Beast City, those 2 people showed a superior expression as they coldly said, "Go, call your city lord out." When the 2 guards saw the clothes they were wearing, their eyes narrowed slightly. When they were really hesitating, one of the disciples went forward and kicked him. "Did you go deaf? Did you not hear what my senior brother said? Quickly hand over your city lord." Trash. One of the Orca-s was caught off guard and was kicked to the ground. The other Orca frowned and said solemnly, "Our city lord is not here. What do you have to say here?" "Oh, Lousy has given you face, right? Do you know who we are? Disciples of the Xian Yuan sword sect. You still dare to put on airs for us. I think you are tired of living. With that, the disciple rushed forward, and with a slash of his long sword, he sliced away 18 flower swords and attacked the orca, who was talking. The attack was sharp. Every move was fatal. He never wanted the orca to live at all. To him, a lowly being like the orca was nothing more than an ant. The orca stood motionlessly on the spot. Seeing the incoming sword attack, his right hand trembled. Boom! A warhammer descended. This warhammer was the godly weapon that Mo Xie refined. Clenching his right fist tightly, the warhammer suddenly combusted. Taking a step forward, a vigorous physique burst forth with fierce strength. And the warhammer resonated. Boom! A hammer blow flew out. Flames erupted. His strength exploded. A hammer smashed into his head, and the Xian Yuan sword sect disciple was nailed to the ground like a nail. Uffed. Fresh blood spewed out wildly. Her face was pale white. Her eyes were filled with shock, looking at Orca. She scolded, "Hairy animal, you dare to attack me. Your mother—" Not waiting for him to finish, the orca moved again, and once more struck down with his hammer. Crack! His head exploded, and he was unable to say a single word. The other disciple of the Xian Yuan sword sect was so scared that he almost peed his pants. Was this the beast that everyone could bully? Moreover, what was in his hand? It actually had a strong elemental energy. Was it from a holy artifact? The Orse tribe has holy artifact. What was going on? Then, he slowly stepped back, not daring to show any disdain on his face anymore as he spoke. I only came to see your city lord to discuss some matters. Since you won't let me see you, then I'll disappear. Finished. The disciple jumped onto the flying sword. The warrior beast suddenly shouted, "Did I let you go?" That disciple did not care about that as he activated his idea and instantly flew out. Humph! Xian Yuan sword sect. If one comes, one will die. As soon as he finished, the flame warhammer threw it fiercely. Bang! He smashed the Xian Yuan sword sect disciple, who was still in midair, down to the ground, and died. There were many orcas around him looking at the flame warhammer in his hands. Previously, they were all bullied by the Xian Yuan sword sect disciples to the point that they couldn't even raise their heads. But now, everyone let out a breath of anger in their hearts. Moreover, they clenched their fists tightly and swore that they would quickly cultivate and break through, hoping to obtain the holy artifact's reward. In another place, although he was unwilling, he could not endure long phase control and was sent into the war pet space. It curled up in a corner and came out. The fire unicorn stared blankly at the sky-swallowing rat, not daring to blink. Long Fei was helpless. Since you're so scared, you should get stronger. Then, Long Fei looked at the ball of fog in front of him, took out the map, and looked at it. He said slightly, after passing through the fog, "It should be the location of the great wilderness abyss, right? Jojo, is the power to revive you below?" Long Fei's heart tightened, and he walked into the dense fog with large strides. The moment he stepped into the fog, a huge green blade fell down. Shwa! The saber chi was like ice, cold to the extreme. Long Fei did not dare to let his guard down. Magmatic fruit, activate! Buzz! The demon fruit was activated. Long Fei's body moved, and he threw a punch. Boom! The green blade trembled violently, and a large portion of the surrounding mist also burned due to the strong flame power that Long Fei exploded forth. It was at this time as well. Long Fei clearly saw what was standing in front of him. Golden light flashed, incomparable glaring. Furthermore, it was incomparably huge. Long Fei's complexion slightly changed, and he muttered to himself, to be able to get the boss in the first place, this is a little too fierce. Explode it! Chapter 1325. Enlarging and Thick Golden Cudgel. Chapter 1325. Enlarging and Thick Golden Cudgel. There were too many unknowns in the great wilderness land. Due to the harsh conditions here, very few people dared to set foot in. The fogland was a dangerous place. Unable to leap, they encountered all kinds of vicious demon beast in the fog. Polar mantis, one of the ferocious demon beast in the fog. The mantis blade was faster than a hurricane. Its body charged forward and retreated. The mantis extended and contracted both of its arms, perfectly combining them together to form a powerful attack. However, Long Fei had never been afraid of getting into trouble since he was young. The stronger you are, the more I will trample on you. The clothes on Long Fei's body had a few cuts on it. The anger in his heart was rising. His fist sunk. Magma explosion fist. Boom. With a flick of his body, his entire body shot out explosively. The polar mantis crossed its arms and blocked, and its legs slightly sank. Its steel wing-like wings suddenly flashed and charged forward, colliding head-on with Long Fei. Rob, you still like the front, right? Sure. I'll just see who has tougher teeth. As his fists surged, magma burned even more fiercely, and the moment he collided with the magma, it was as if he had been struck by a raging inferno. His right fist sank. Cheelin arm. The punch landed heavily on the point where both of their arms were crossed. Rumble! The polar mantis slightly lowered its body. Its arms cracked a little, but it only cracked a little. Long Fei's right arm went numb, but let's see how many moves you can take. Meteor fire rain. 10,000 punches. Ah! Long Fei roared in anger. His fists shot down like meteors, striking a specific point. Strong. Let's see how strong you are. Bang, bang, bang. His fists were like a storm. He completely did not give the polar mantis any chance to retaliate. Come on, let's attack again. The 10,000 fists descended. The blood groove on the top of the polar mantis head had reached the bottom, and its body was also immediately set on fire by Long Fei. With a bang, all of it shattered. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Polar Mantis for obtaining 100,000 experience, 10,000 Holy Source S, and 1 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Mantis Blade God. Do you wish to cultivate it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Polar Mantis Blood Vein. Do you wish to fuse it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Polar Crystal Core. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. The system sounded out one after another. Just a little bit. Long Fei laughed excitedly. The little boss has dropped pretty well. He actually dropped a God-rank cultivation technique. Cultivate. After finishing off the polar mantis, he stopped for a while and continued to walk forward. He was unable to determine direction in the dense fog, so Long Fei could only walk forward using his senses. Afterwards, he met a few polar mantis in succession. All of them were killed by Long Fei. After walking for more than half a day, Long Fei returned to his original spot. Damn! Wall-hitting ghost. Long Fei muttered in his heart. He clearly remembered that this was the first time he had hunted this mantis. There's something strange about this fog. Long Fei let out a small sigh. And then the idea in Long Fei's heart sank and linked to the golden cudgel, said, "Monkey, let me borrow your fiery eyes of truth to use." The power within the golden cudgel began to surge. Then, buzz. Long Fei closed his eyes and suddenly opened them. His eyes became a ball of flame and fiercely shot it out, instantly seeing something hundreds of miles away. A gush of water. Evil spring. All of the dense fog came out of the evil spring, and the surrounding area of the evil spring was filled with all kinds of bones. At this moment, with the fiery eyes of truth able to see through all evil, Long Fei quickly advanced. The fog grew thicker. Sounds rang out. Stop him! Stop him! Boom, boom. A few demon beasts rushed out of the mist and heavily struck Xiang Longfei. Longfei clenched his right hand, and golden cudgel appeared in it. Stop me? All of you get on the ground. The golden cudgel swept across. Boom! A demon beast was swept flying. With the support of the golden cudgel in Longfei's hand, his body flipped and swiftly rushed several thousand meters forward, leaving a group of demon beasts behind. It was not that Long Fei did not want to kill the demon beast, but it was because he had to first get rid of the evil spring and solve this fog. Otherwise, Long Fei would never be able to walk out and be manipulated by the fog. Bang, bang, bang. His footsteps were like thunder as he rapidly advanced. Seeing Long Fei getting closer and closer, the evil spring became more ferocious. The gushing spring water also started to roll upwards, as if it was an evil eye that had popped out. Stop him! You hear me? Stop him! Boom! Boom! The demon beast released waves of roars and crazily chased up to him. However, Long Fei coldly laughed and said, "It's useless, no one can stop me." As soon as his voice faded, Long Fei floated in the air and landed on the head of the evil spring. At this moment, the demon beasts that were rushing overstopped in their tracks and did not dare to get any closer. Long Fei slightly smiled. You should be the one behind the great desolate mist formation, right? If he did not have the power of the fiery eyes of truth, it would be impossible for Long Fei to find this place. Xie Qin's ice-cold voice resounded and said, "So what if I know? Do you think you can escape from here? You can't escape. Do I have to run?" Long Fei looked at the evil spring and said, "If you kill you, how would I leave? Lowly human, you are courting death." The evil spring was enraged, and the dense qi within the spring pounced towards Long Fei, who was in mid-air like a violent tide. It was extremely fast. However, the moment the evil spring made a move, Long Fei also did not stay idle. The idea moved, sure as body, open. Buzz. The power of his divine body exploded forth. Long Fei took the golden cudgel and viciously threw it down from the air. Go straight for the yellow dragon. The Xiao Luo divine body released all of the evil spring's energy. The golden cudgel smashed down heavily. The evil spring's voice sunk. No matter what weapon you use, it will all be swallowed by me. Seeing that there are no bones around, I can still swallow the bodies of these powerful demon beasts. The evil spring was very deep, and if he were to swing the staff, he would not be able to penetrate through to the end. However, Long Fei's body bounced and suddenly moved further away. He did not grab the golden cudgel back, but instead coldly smiled. An iron rod? Then I'll show you how fierce this iron rod is. Long Fei's idea connected to the golden cudgel and growled. Golden cudgel, he wants to eat you. Can you let him eat you? Increase in size, increase in thickness, explode it. Boom. Amongst the evil spring, the golden cudgel moved at lightning speed, becoming thicker, larger, and longer. It suddenly came out from the deepest part of the evil spring. What is it? He is a main artifact. Want to swallow it? Brainless. The evil spring began to get unaccustomed to it and started to gush forth with water like crazy, shouting angrily. What exactly is this thing? Are you feeling bad? Long Fei laughed disdainfully. You said it. It's an iron rod. I'll stab your iron rod to death. Chapter 1326, Healing Spring. Chapter 1326, Healing Spring, boom, boom, boom. The golden cudgel grew in size, became thicker and longer. The spring water was torn apart. The spring water turned blood red. Long Fei stood at the side of the spring and said, "Hair in your mouth, continue being arrogant." The evil spring could not endure it any longer and was forced more and more to the point where its strength was being squeezed. Its entire body was about to explode, and every time the golden cudgel grew larger, a bright red damage figure would float out from the top of its head. "Let me go. Lord, I beg of you, please let me go." The evil spring began to beg. "I don't dare to do it again. I don't dare to do it again." He was scared. Long Fei asked, "Let you go? What's so good about letting you go?" The evil spring did not give off a golden glow. Logically speaking, it should be the strongest boss in this fog, but it did not have any boss aura on its body. This made Long Fei very suspicious. The evil spring immediately said, "I have devoured a lot of powerhouse, and they have a lot of spiritual treasures with them. I will give them all to you, and I will give you everything." As he spoke, things started to appear one by one. These things had some pretty good spirit treasures, and there were even 2 ancient spiritual artifacts. These were really the energy that Long Fei's golden cudgel needed to fill up, but just these things were not enough to move Long Fei. Long Fei said, "If I kill you, these things will still be mine. You want these in exchange for your life. Just based on the fact that you wanted to kill me earlier, I can't let you go." The evil spring shook and said, "Lord, I beg of you, please let me go this once. I have cultivated for 37,000 years and have endured countless calamities before finally reaching this level. If you kill me, I will never be able to recover from it. I beg you, please forgive me this once. I will definitely remember your great kindness." Cultivate 37,000 years. Holy **T. Awesome. Long Fei couldn't help but be shocked. This chaos realm is truly extraordinary. He can even cultivate spring water and can actually cultivate it to such an extent. Since you've cultivated for so many years. Long Fei's mind was spinning. The evil spring looked at Long Fei's expression and immediately said it was not easy to cultivate. "Master, you also understand that you will let me go, right?" Just as the evil spring's voice fell, Long Fei grinned and said, "Then even more so, I shouldn't have let you go." "Huh." The evil spring gave a start and exclaimed, "Lord, don't kill me. I can do anything for you. As long as you don't kill me, I promise you anything." That's what I wanted to hear. Long Fei was secretly satisfied in his heart and asked, "I won't kill you? That will depend on what qualifications you have to make me not kill you." "Tell me, what do you know?" The feeling this evil spring gave Long Fei was not simple. To be able to cultivate from such a small spring for 37,000 years, it was enough to prove that he was not simple. The evil spring said, "I will release the fog. As long as I enter the fog, I will easily lose my bearings. Normal people will not be able to walk out." Long Fei said, "I already know about that. When facing a superpower house, your fog is useless. What else?" The evil spring was incomparably anxious as she said, and I also know how to control Demon Beast." Long Fei laughed disdainfully. "Is that what you call having control over Demon Beast? Those Demon Beast were afraid of you, right? Because they were forced to listen to you. It wasn't because of your power controlling them." Long Fei had seen through this long ago. The evil spring was even more anxious. I still have strength. I still have. Hurry up and say it." Long Fei pretended to be impatient and bellowed. Just releasing the fog was enough, because this kind of evil spring was a natural protective magical formation. Once inside, one could forget about coming out. However, Long Fei still wanted to know what kind of power the evil spring had. I still have more. I still have more. I definitely still have more. Let me think, let me think. The evil spring was very nervous and worried because he could feel Long Fei's anger. He could also feel the golden cudgel in his body stirring. As long as the golden cudgel grew bigger, all of his cultivation would be reduced to ashes, pulverized, and all his 37,000 years of cultivation would be destroyed. However, the more nervous the evil spring was, the more it couldn't think of anything, and the more anxious it was, the more it didn't want anything. Long Fei said, "Seems like you don't know anything. Since that's the case, there's no need for me to keep you here." Long Fei controlled the golden cudgel, causing its power to tremble. The evil spring was scared to the point of peeing. It shouted loudly, "I can heal. I have the power to heal. My spring water can heal wounds. Does this count as my power? The power of healing?" Long Fei was extremely shocked in his heart. Spring water? Healing spring? Main city spring water. Rapid recovery of health point. Holy sh*T. We've struck gold this time. On the surface, Long Fei seemed to be suppressing his shock and said indifferently, "How do I get a cure? As long as my body is wrapped in my spring water, I can quickly swallow and heal the wound. If my power is stronger, as long as you stand by my side, I can heal the wound. This is the first sacred power I have mastered, but in this world, people eat people, ghosts eat ghosts, beasts eat beasts. This kind of healing power of mine is completely useless. All of the healing power that I had gained insight into was evil fog to make those powerhouse lose their way and to absorb the demon beast that had entered. It was all for my use." Ha ha! Long Fei's heart blossomed with a smile. F***CK. Awesome, awesome. Long Fei was extremely excited in his heart. With this guy, who else should I be afraid of in the future when we start fighting? A spring water was placed in the middle. Not just him, but his brothers as well. Long Fei asked slightly, "How many injuries can you heal?" The evil spring immediately said, "Master, as long as you are not dead, I have ways to cure you, including poison, internal injuries, and amputated limbs. This is the first divine ability I've developed, after all." The evil spring laughed bitterly. He was helpless against this ability. In this world, power was king. This kind of healing power was useless. What use would unassailable strength be? This was also the reason why evil spring could not immediately remember. It might not be useful to others. However, to Long Fei, this was too freaking useful. Having this kind of healing spring was equivalent to bringing the main city to his side. "You're injured? Take a sip. How fierce is this? Wow, just thinking about it makes me excited. What is the immortal core? This is what we call the Undying Legion." Long Fei suppressed the excitement in his heart and lightly said, "I can still spare your life, but can you come with me? In other words, can you become a war pet?" The evil spring was stunned. You want to take me away from here? You don't want to?" No, I, even in my dreams, want to leave this place." "Then do it with me." Chapter 13:27, Great Wilderness Abyss. Chapter 13:27, Great Wilderness Abyss. Ha ha! I've struck it rich. Long Fei moved his hand and took the golden cudgel back. The evil spring's body recovered. At this moment, Long Fei's idea entered the evil spring's sea of consciousness and said, "You're willing to become my war pet?" The evil spring immediately nodded. "I am." Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for reigning in Healing Spring, obtaining 100 experience, 100 holy source, and 100 points as a special reward. Ding! Congratulations to the player Long Fei for obtaining the God's Martial Sect. The current number of disciples recruited is 5,000. Huh. happiness came too suddenly. Long Fei wasn't prepared for it for a moment. The subjugation of the healing spring, which was also a part of the gods' martial sect, was also because of this reason. It could be seen how powerful the healing spring was. His strength may not be as good as the Bemin, but his overall strength was definitely much stronger than the Bemin, because as long as he was around, Long Fei's army would not be an army. This feels great. I don't even need to bring my protective ring. Ha ha. Long Fei suppressed the joy in his heart and asked, "You have cultivated here for 37,000 years. Then you should know how the great wilderness land's calamity occurred, right? Where did the great wilderness land's spirit energy go?" The evil spring continued. "I'm not sure about what happened during the catastrophe, but I do know where the spirit energy in the great wilderness land went to. That place is too scary." Long Fei directly said, "Speak." The evil spring said, "Great wilderness abyss, deep in the earth's core." Long Fei's heart thumped. "It's really the great wilderness abyss." The evil spring said, "Master, that place is the most dangerous place among the great wilderness land. That place is the Chaos Realm's black hole, and no one can enter it." Long Fei asked, "Do you know the way?" The great wilderness abyss had clues on reviving Jojo. No matter how dangerous it was, he had to go to Hell Long Fei. The great wilderness land has an area of tens of millions of kilometers, and all of the spirit energy has been absorbed by the monsters in the abyss. If not for him absorbing all the spirit energy, I might have been able to break through a few levels. Without waiting for the evil spring to finish speaking, Long Fei moved his body and recalled the evil spring back into the war pet space. The evil spring was startled and said, "Master, we cannot go to that place." Not waiting for him to finish, the evil spring's sacred art suddenly shook because he felt two incomparably powerful auras within the war pet space, especially that small blob of rat that seemed to be like a lump of meat. Set the Chimney Pavilion as the home page to collect the Chimney Pavilion account number. Password, forgotten password user registration Chimney Pavilion search fiction station SMS. Set the Chimney Pavilion as the home page to collect the Chimney Pavilion account number. Password, forgotten password user registration Chimney Pavilion search fiction station SMS integral rules asterisk first page asterisk fantasy novel asterisk the immortal novels asterisk metropolitan novel asterisk romance novel asterisk historical novel asterisk a novel about the game asterisk science fiction asterisk horror novel asterisk finished novel asterisk ranking list asterisk my bookcase background default background color light blue ocean light, yellow clear, green light elegant, red powder aristocratic family, white snow world, gray world color, default black red, green blue brown size, default small medium, large double click scroll screen, slowest, moderately fastest the strongest upgrade system, chapter 1329 sacrifice, chapter 1329 author. A lot of water from the sea returns to the table of contents to join the bookmark. Table of contents. Chapter 1329. Sacrifice Long Fei wanted to die. The idea moved, sensing the power in her body, but Long Fei could not feel the existence of any power, and neither could the inheritance of the Azura King. What's the situation? Where is my strength? At this time, the red-clothed female felt that Long Fei was inspecting her strength and said, "Stop trying to sense it. All of your strength has been blocked by my seal." Long Fei's heart sank and said, "I accidentally fell into the abyss. If there's anything that I'm sorry about, can you release the seal in my body?" If the inheritance power of the Azura King could even contain the seal, then these women were definitely not simple. At least, Long Fei could not see through the Red Lady's cultivation at all. The lady in red replied, "Only women are allowed to have cultivation here, and no man is allowed to have cultivation. I will not remove the seal from your body. I'll just leave. Longface said directly, no cultivation? What's the difference between that and a piece of trash? Even if the system was still working, Longfei could not kill people, he could not kill monsters, and even the holy source was trapped. So how could he resist? Even if there was a system, it was useless. The seal was completely dead. Leave, the short-haired woman said in shock. You think that you can leave just because you want to? Exactly. Why don't you take a look at this place? One by one, they spoke seriously. Suddenly, Longfei had a feeling that he couldn't protect his holiday season. He clamped his legs together and asked, "What do you want?" In the past, he had even dreamt of entering the country of women. A man and a bunch of women could do whatever they wanted to do, whoever they wanted to do, wherever they wanted to do, whatever they wanted to do, but Longfei was actually a little afraid in his heart. The woman in red spoke up, slightly. I don't want to do anything to you, but after a few days, I will send you out of here. But these few days, you must stay here obediently, and don't go anywhere else. The girls were stunned as they looked at the woman in red. He was somewhat shocked. Longfei was not an idiot. From the looks of those girls, Longfei could tell that she wanted to leave. It was impossible. There was a high chance that there was no way out. Moreover, the woman in red might have other uses for her. Could it be that she wants to monopolize me? Longfei thought in his heart, damn, you can say it openly. If I can't satisfy others, how can I not satisfy her? The woman in red's figure was exceptionally sexy, the kind a man can't resist. Furthermore, he was wearing so little that it definitely wouldn't be a problem for Longfei to beat him 8 or 10 of them. And then the woman in red's voice shook as she said, "Leave." The many women looked at Longfei reluctantly, and one by one, they walked out. "Big sister, are you sure you want to send him off? We don't have any way out here, only the great demon king." The short-haired woman said in a low voice. The woman in red said, "The day after tomorrow will be the day our spirit woman clan sacrifices to the heavens. We will use his blood to serve our ancestors and allow us to obtain an even stronger power to fight the great demon king. I promise, Master, I will definitely lead you out of here." Short-haired woman shook and said, "Big sister, his blood." The woman in red said, "His blood is very powerful." Recommended book chapter, catalog, join bookmark skills. Press Ctrl+D to quickly save the current chapter page to a favorite browser. Press Ctrl, the Enter key returns to the chapter table. The O key returns to the previous chapter. The key enters the next chapter. Recommendation: Dolua Continent 4 Ultimate Dolua, Shuro Goddess, Sword Truth, Heaven-Splitting Record, Sea Swallowing, Myriad King, Evil Lord Tianlong, Duke of Xia, Great Jiaomin, Holy Ruins. All of the content of the novel's most powerful upgrade system comes from the internet, and the Choo Choo Pavilion only promotes novels with lots of water in the sea by the original author. Welcome to your book friend's support for a lot of water in the sea, and to collect the latest chapter of the strongest upgrade system. All novels in this site are reprinted works. All chapters are uploaded by the netizens, and are only reprinted to promote this book for more readers to appreciate. If there are any infringement, please contact us. We will deal with it as soon as possible. Copyright 2019 Kudu, www.beakage.com, all rights reserved. Chapter 1330, Gambling System. Chapter 1330, Gambling System, Seal. Longfei sat cross-legged on the bed, his mind thinking of a way to break it. Looking at those women's expressions, it was obvious that it was impossible to send him out. There must be another reason for him to be locked up here. Moreover, since this place was filled with women, was a little afraid that something might happen. Strength, blood vein, even the inheritance strength of the Azura King and ancestor Kunlun has been sealed. This woman's country is truly powerful. Long Fei tried to use the breaking through the seal a few times, but it failed. It was completely useless. He couldn't even feel the seal in his body, let alone feel it. The level of the seal was too high, so Long Fei was unable to break through. Right now, the only power that Long Fei could rely on was the system, but the cultivation techniques and divine weapons rewarded by the system required Long Fei's holy source to be activated to unleash its power. In other words, the system was useless now. That's not right. Suddenly, Long Fei's expression shook as he thought to himself, the other powers of the system might have been restricted by the indirect seal, but the system's merchant shop can still run. If there's a pill or other treasure that can unlock the seal, then there won't be a problem. The system points exchange market was omnipotent. There were a lot of strange things in there that only you could think of, but nothing that he couldn't do. Opening up the market, Long Fei immediately browsed through the items. The pill to break seal, the pill to break seal. In another place, hurry up, this ancestral worship is very important to us, so you have to be careful of every detail. The woman in red commanded. In a huge square, in the center of the square, there were all kinds of totems carved on stone pillars. These totems weren't carved from precious beasts, but rather they were carved from an incomparably gorgeous man. A woman. This was the belief of the woman in red, the female emperor. If Long Fei was here, he would definitely be very surprised to see all these totems, because the woman engraved on the totem looked like a person. Jojo. In the square, there was finally an altar with 9 steps. Dozens of women were quickly preparing. Short-hair woman walked out. The woman in red asked, "Is he still obedient?" Short-hair woman replied, "Very obedient. You have been sitting on the bed, without moving at all." "Big sister, is this a man? Isn't it too easy to be deceived?" The lady in red said slightly, "Martial ancestor once said that men are the people that cannot be trusted the most in this world. They lie continuously and are extremely flowery and cunning." Short-hair woman muttered, "It seems like we are lying to him." The woman in red glared at him and said, "No matter what he's doing, keep an eye on him. Tomorrow is the day of our ancestors' worship. We can't let anything go wrong." Short-hair woman immediately replied, "Understood." And then short-hair woman asked again, "Big sister, if we really obtain stronger power, would we really kill our way out?" "The strength of the great demon king." The lady in red replied, "We have been trapped in the chaos realm for thousands of years. This place does not belong to us. You must get out." The red-clothed female's expression became calm as she muttered, "We must go back. We must see our world. We must go back to the Phoenix Mountain." Short-hair woman looked at her elder sister and thought, "Phoenix Mountain, are they all of the Phoenix clan? Who? This darn system merchant shop. I'm seeing crazy things. It's even more tiring than shopping with a woman." Long Fei complained. There were too many types of commodities, and most of them made Long Fei's eyes swell up when he saw them. It was very hard. However, in the end, it was still found by Long Fei, blood of the unseal. Exchange points. 1 million. Damn. 60 million points. Where the F *** K. Is this old man going to get so many points? Long Fei had the urge to die. It was not good to find the thing to unlock the seal among tens of millions of goods. But it actually needed 60 million points to exchange for. Long Fei looked at his points. It was only more than 10 million. Not enough. Points. Points. Long Fei opened his own space ring. It was empty. Aside from a few special things, there was nothing else. All of them had been devoured by the sky-swallowing rat. He was much fiercer than the Yen Huang ancestor back then. Without points, I am unable to exchange the blood of the unseal. Naturally, my strength is unable to break through the shackles. Do you really want me to break through the shackles in front of Xiaobai? Although this place was filled with women, and was filled with beauties that could topple nations, places where Long Fei would even dream of doing in his previous life, he did not want to stay at all right now. Huff! Long Fei let out a heavy sigh. There's 2 little points to exchange for it. Are you trying to die here? Long Fei then looked at the other items. The other items could not break the impact of the seal at all. Huff, huff, huff. I'm going all out. Long Fei moved, looking at the other option gambling system beside the systems market. Let's have a bet. Transform into a motorbike. Make a bet. The gambling system always had one, but Long Fei was not one who liked to gamble. He would lose 9 times in a row, and the person in front of him was not a human, but an AI. Want to win? It was very difficult. Long Fei played with the super fishing machine in the god's martial continent. 1 shot of a golden dragon. That was luck when one's luck was huge. It was too difficult. Ding! The gambling system welcomes you. The system sent out a cordial greeting. Long Fei had never stopped such a gentle and cordial system beep. He couldn't help but mutter in his heart, "Do you know that I'm giving you money?" Rob. Shameless. Long Fei cursed as he entered the gambling interface. There were many choices: slot machine, fishing machine, 21 points, Russian roulette, landlord, even mahjong. Just like in the gambling den from his previous life, there were all sorts of ways to play. Ding! Please choose from among the players. Long Fei slightly said, to play mahjong. For 4 people, deducting that they are the system's 3 other people, they are definitely not a match for the system. It's the same for playing landlord. If you want to make it, then make it a dual one. At least it'll be a bit easier to deal with. Do you have a spindle bar? Ding! System notification. Players' points are insufficient. You can't afford to play. Sigh, damn you! Are you looking down on me? Long Fei was immediately annoyed. How many points does it cost to play the game? Then change it. Russian roulette. Long Fei moved. The system sounded out again. I don't have enough points. I can't afford to play. Fuck your sister. System, you have a lot on your mind, don't you? This gambling city was opened for me alone. If you don't earn my money, who else can you earn? They even set up points. I'm just drunk. Long Fei changed a few in a row, and in the end, because he did not have enough points, he was looked down upon by the system. Ding! System notification. With your current points, you can only play the cat-up game. Chapter 1331. Lousy is not playing. Chapter 1331. Lousy is not playing catch games. Kids. A bunch of cows ran around inside, and then tied the rope around it, crazily hitting the buttons to get over. Long Fei was speechless. Damn you! You got yourself into the gambling system? Are you going to kill a 3-year-old child? As soon as he finished, Long Fei immediately said, exchange 1 million points chips for me. He rubbed his hands and laughed in his heart. Your father will not kill you. He's an old hand at bull play, often in the street to help the children play a few, each time can put on the cow. However, the success rate of this game was high, but there would also be times when it would fail. It would depend on luck if one wanted to win the hand of the demon ox. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for trading 1 million points of chips. The points were deducted by 1 million points. Then, a chip appeared in Long Fei's hand. Long Fei said, 1 million points for 1 chip? Isn't this way too much of a scam? However, this old man used this chip to make you go bankrupt. Grandma! Long Fei picked up the chips and threw it into the game console, causing the scene to change. Boom, boom, boom. A large wave of bison rushed across the screen. Long Fei's hands were quick. He pressed on the button and pulled a rope. M.O. At this moment, the calf at the back of the herd was caught. It's you. Then, Long Fei was like a madman, crazily hitting the buttons. Pa, 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 pa. 3 times, the rhythm was extremely strong. You want to play the Ox King with me? I'll trap you to death. Long Fei grinned excitedly. Don't tell me you didn't know that the machine was my ATM? Ha ha ha. Long Fei had a way to trap a cow, and if he used his strength, that would be his choice as well. Be it in theory or practice, Long Fei was an experienced veteran. Pa pa pa. Suddenly, the reins were tightened, causing Long Fei to panic a little, and hit on the reins even more. Bam! The rope snapped. Ding! I failed to get a hold of Xiao Niu. Xiao Niu spat on your face and gave you some cow poop. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a pool of bullshit. Long Fei kept staring at the machine with a dark and murderous look in his eyes. The calf that was running away had been jumping all over the screen and had started to poop on the screen. That smug expression was as cheap as it could be. Long Fei pulled out the golden cudgel and wanted to smash it with his staff, but before he could make a move, he felt a cold sensation on his back. Behind him stood 2 great gods in black suits and sunglasses. If he dared to touch the machines, he was afraid that he would be dragged out and beaten. Now that his strength had been restricted by the seal, he had to keep a low profile. He thought to himself, "System, I didn't expect you to have fighters in a gambling den." All right, are you satisfied yet? Again, I don't believe that an eagle that has been raised for the rest of my life would be able to be pecked by an eagle. Long Fei was not convinced. The idea moved, exchange for another 1,000,000 points. This time Long Fei was even more serious. Being looked down upon by a calf, Long Fei's heart burned with rage, and he said, "Wait, if I don't get you out, I'll have to go with your surname." Everything was ready. After putting in the chips, the scene changed again as a large wave of buffaloes flew past Long Fei. "Let's see where you can escape to this time." Shwa! The rope uncoiled itself and wrapped itself around the head of the calf with incomparable accuracy. Pa 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 pa. This time Long Fei would definitely not give him the chance. However, when the calf was right in front of it, it suddenly turned its body and stomped its hooves on the ground. The rope snapped. Xiao Niu stuck out his tongue at Long Fei and peed on him once again. Ding! The looting had failed. The calf had spat on your face and had even shat on your face. Ding! Long Fei stared at the scene in a daze, staring at the arrogant calf. He really wanted to go on a rampage and kill it. Damn you! Is there such a thing? This is a F***king bullshit. System, are you messing with lousy? Long Fei was extremely unhappy. The flames were about to burn out. This was simply an insult to an old hand who was trying to trick him. Again, Long Fei didn't care about anything now and directly exchanged for chips. Half a minute later, ding, collection failed. Again, ding, collection failed. What the hell? Or could it be that this bastard isn't trying to trick us at all? He's trying to trick us. Long Fei cursed in his heart, but he was always serious. The game in front of him was not a simple bullseye. Ding. Collection failed. Continuously failing. 10,000,000 points left over the last chip. Long Fei threw the chips into the game console, and then the scene changed again as a large wave of wild cows rushed out. At this moment, Long Fei suddenly pressed down on the start button. Shwa! With the rope in hand, he placed it right in front of him. His physique was extremely thick, and his muscles bulged as if he was the Demon Ox King. Long Fei shouted, "It's you! Pa 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 pa, pa pa pa, pa pa pa." The whole herd panicked. The Demon Ox King was even more confused. He never thought that Long Fei would throw the rope at him. He was caught off guard. Long Fei did not let go, not even the slightest bit of anger. Moo moo. It let out a series of roars. Come out. Long Fei roared. He pressed down hard on the button, and in that moment too, Demon Ox struggled as he was dragged into the darkness. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for succeeding. And then, Long Fei did not care about it. Instead, he stared at the stupefied expression on the screen and laughed coldly. You must be more pleased with yourself, or do you want to spit on your father's face? Rub, I can't get rid of you. 1 net for fish, 2 nets, 3 nets. If one did not fish in the 9 nets, one would be able to fish in a big fish. The group of bison were all stunned. This was especially the case for that calf. It seemed as if it had been injected with an impotent needle, and it was in no mood at all. Long Fei took out a whole pile of chips from his bag and said, System, are you playing with me? I won't be able to play with you. If you have the ability, why don't you take a bite out of it? Long Fei turned around with a pile of chips in his arms, looked at the 2 great gods, and said disdainfully, Scram to the side, okay? I am now a rich person. As long Long Fei did not trigger the rules, the 2 gods would not be able to touch him. Exchange points. A large pile of chips was held on the exchange table. The melodious sound of the system notification rang out. System notification. Players can now play other gambling games. I don't want to play anymore. Exchange points. Chapter 1332. Lousy is going to rebel. Chapter 1332. Lousy is going to rebel. Absolutely do not give the gambling system any chance. The entire gambling city was open for him. If he didn't scam someone, then who else could he be scammed? If Long Fei wasn't forced into a corner, he would definitely not come to this kind of place. He would really be dug a hole, and not even his underwear would remain. It was too tiring to compete in intelligence and courage. Long Fei realized the problem when he was playing with the ox machine. He had always been playing the fool, but his final move had been extremely thrilling. Half a minute later, ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for exchanging the points. The current number is 80 million. Huff! Enough! Long Fei breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. The moment he walked out of the gambling city, he said, If you have the chance, come again. The gambling system is an attractive system. In addition to being able to bet points, he could also use points to bet equipment, gambling holy artifact, gambling blood vein. But it was extremely difficult for him to win. When Long Fei returned to the exchange hall, the idea moved. Exchange for the blood of the unseal. Ding! Exchange successful. Long Fei immediately consumed the blood of the unseal, and a sliver of energy immediately recovered from his body. However, he did not fully recover his energy in an instant. The red-clothed female's sealing was too strong. Even if Long Fei had swallowed the blood from unsealing the seal, it would still require some time to completely recover. No rush, as long as it can recover. Long Fei was not anxious. He remained seated and quietly waited for his strength to recover bit by bit. At this moment, a few ladies snuck into the room, but still looked curiously at Long Fei. The short-haired woman was one of them. The scene of the large blade being suspended above his second brother was something that Long Fei would never forget for the rest of his life. Sister Wen, what is he doing? Are you cultivating? Sister Wen, will he really become a sacrifice? Big Sister said that the blood vein contains a great amount of power. Perhaps it can allow the female emperor to bestow us with a great amount of power, and then we can fight against the great demon king. It seems like men are quite useful. The few women whispered to each other. They did not guard against Long Fei. Someone who had been given a seal by Big Sis did not even need to be released. Long Fei understood the situation he was in from their conversation and thought to himself, so it's not because they want to gather me, but because they want to use me as a sacrifice to the heavens, or use my blood essence. I already told you that the most poisonous thing is the heart of a woman. The more beautiful a woman is, the more poisonous their heart is. Long Fei was a little displeased in his heart. A few disciples quickly ran out. Elder Wu sneered, "A bunch of barbarians." He thought that these people were afraid of him, because who wouldn't fear the elders of the Xian Yuan sword sect within the radius of millions of kilometers? Moreover, the current Xian Yuan sword sect had established a relationship with the Hell Gate and was the absolute hegemon of this area. However, the situation was a little different from what he had expected. In less than half a minute, two groups of people rushed out and surrounded him. Wu Xiong's forehead tightened as he let out a heavy, cold snort, saying in disdain, "What do you bunch of trash want to do?" Lei Dong walked out and said, "I don't want to do anything. I just want to remind you that this is the Beast City, and this is our Orse tribe's territory. We do not welcome you here. Get out." The Orse tribe took a sudden step forward and let out a loud shout. His voice was deafening. Wu Xiong's heart shook, and he shouted, "You want me to scram? Are you beasts really capable? You're courting death." With that, Wu Xiong's powerful aura burst forth, his sword thrusting straight towards Lei Dun. It was fast and powerful. The sword shadows spread across the sky. This time, they were here to teach the beast a lesson and let the dog know who was the master. However, Lei Dun's forehead sank as he stared intently at Wu Xiong. The moment the long sword was about to land, his body abruptly charged forward. He waved his right hand. Boom! A flame ignited and a hammer was smashed down. All the fire energy was like an overwhelming pressure that struck the top of Wu Xiong's head. Crack! Wu Xiong spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground like a dead dog. He glared at Lei Dun, who was walking towards him, and said, You dare rebel?" Leighton shouted, "This old man is going to rebel." Boom! You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.